temperatures are in the 60s. It is a blustery afternoon. But when the Mbna 400 rolls off the line, you can be assured that on the track, the action will be as hot as a summertime afternoon. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Eli. You don't have to look very far at all to find the three guys that are involved in the chase for the Winston Cup title this year. Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett took the first three qualifying spots in Friday's trials. Although Martin has the pole today, if you look at the history book, it favors this man, Jeff Gordon. He has won 3 of the last 4 races here at Dover. Meanwhile, Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett starting third have never tamed the Monster Mile. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Glenn, the odd man in the mix today could be Dick Trickle, who starts fourth, a veteran. Winless on the tour, his best career finish came here at Dover with a 3rd place. His car owner, Junie Donlevy, 47 years in the sport and only 1 victory. Ironically, it came right here at Dover. But there are a host of other contenders who are farther back in the field, like Bobby Labonte. He wants to pay back the monster for the wrath he suffered back in June. And you can't count out winless Hut Strickland. The 8 car starts 8. Strickland looks to become only the 2nd driver in Dover history to score their first victory here on the Monster Mile. Steve Burns.
And there's some big names way back in the field now. Mark Martin may be on the pole, but his teammates are in row 20. Ted Musgrave's team had a problem in qualifying. Same with Jeff Burton. He's trying to recover from an inner ear infection. Todd Bodine was in the car for him. Jeff just said, I feel pretty good. I'm going to try and go the whole way today. They're 4th in points. A little bit further up, Terry Labonte starts 36th. He hasn't won since Charlotte in October last year. And the man everybody is wondering about, when will he win again? Dale Earnhardt starts 33rd. He hasn't won since March of '96. Back up top to Eli Gold.
Steve, thanks a lot. And if you like the numbers games, remember this. 52 races now, the winless streak for Dale Earnhardt. His car owner, Richard Childress, celebrates his 52nd birthday here today. Maybe there's some significance. We'll find out over the course of the next 3.5 hours. But Buddy Baker, one other thing we're going to find in the next 3.5 hours, I dare say we'll find some short tempers here at Dover Downs.
Eli, the racetrack is so fast and you run so close here, just touching somebody can send them right in the wall. You made an enemy. The other thing you have to remember, 175 miles an hour down the straightaway, just being real close sometimes takes the air off the back of the car, sending it up to the wall. You don't really have to hit them to make an enemy.
Actually, Dick Berggren, we saw some of that in the Mbna 200 here yesterday.
Yeah, the concrete surface here at Dover presents unique challenges for the drivers, Eli. The cars are so very fast, and the grip they have on the racetrack is so very fragile. And yesterday, Buckshot Jones leading the Busch Grand National race in the waning laps. Coming off the 2nd corner, around he went. Joe Bessie in 2nd spot, had never won one of these things before. He came home first. Strange stuff happens here at Dover all the time. In fact, the guy who won the race here in June, Ricky Rudd, and Mark Martin, who won the pole for today's event, both used the same word when describing Dover. They say it's treacherous.
One thing, though, this time around, it is 400 laps, 400 miles. They have already fired the engines. We welcome you to TNN Motorsports, the Mbna 400, next. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Mbna 400 is brought to you by Texaco. Texaco, a world of energy. By Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. By the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by MCI. Is this a great time or what?
I smell a squiggly.
Beautiful day in Dover, Delaware. And let's take a look at the starting lineup. Mark Martin is 3rd Dover pole. And Jeff Gordon is 150th career start. Dale Jarrett starting 3rd. Dick Trickle going 4th. And Bobby Labonte going 5th. Wouldn't it be something to see Junie Donlevy's team come up with a victory again today, Dick?
It could happen, too. They have run so very well here, Eli. That's a very, very strong car. Dick Trickle behind the wheel.
There you see Andretti. Joe Nemechek will start in the 7th spot. His last top 5 was here a couple of years ago. Hut Strickland makes his 250th career start today. Rick Mast was 6th here last September, and Ricky Craven rounding out the top 10. David Green and Chad Little, they'll be in row number 6. Row number 7, hey, let's not forget about Bill Elliott, buddy. Here's a guy who's had 4 Dover wins.
Well, Bill Elliott has turned his team around now. He and Mike Beam have really got this team up front. Right now, all he has to have is a little racing luck. Bill Elliott can go to victory circle again.
There's Morgan Shepherd. He's back in the number 1 car. Remember that he ran the first 13 races of the year for that team. Ricky Rudd, the winner. Brett Bodine. Notice, no sponsor on the car. We'll talk about that. He pulled the decals off during final practice here yesterday. Kenny Wallace and Michael Waltrip. Michael's finished 11th or better in the last 3 Dover races. Sterling Marlin and Rusty Wallace. That's row number 11. Row 12, Kyle Petty. His last win was here at Dover in June of '95. And Jeremy Mayfield. That team's really running well. Jeff Bodine and Gary Bradbury are 25th and 26th. Ward Burton and Steve Grissom, 27th and 28th. 29th and 30th, Johnny Benson and Mike Skinner. Dick, he's hoping to try and break out of the doldrums here this weekend.
That is still a very, very good team. They've had a tough run here the last several races, but it's a good, solid team. They could come together here.
There's row number 17, Dale Earnhardt. He's led more Dover races, 24 of them, than any other driver. Bobby Hamilton was second in 1995 here. Robbie Gordon and Terry Labonte. That's his lowest Dover start since he started 38th. There's Dave Marcus. Derek Cope. He has a Dover win in 1990, Derek does. Jeff Burton, Ted Musgrave, Darrell Waltrip, and Jeff Green. The only driver failing to qualify, Steve Park. He was here, but could not muster enough speed to make the field. Now the AutoZone race analysis brought to you by the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. This is the first 400-mile NASCAR Winston Cup race here. There were a couple of 300-milers back in the early days of Dover Downs International. Then, of course, a passel full of 500s before now shifting to the 400-mile distance. What does that mean for these racing teams, buddy? Do they take a few more liberties with the engine? Do they change gearing maybe? Can they be a little less conservative because they've got a lesser distance to go?
Well, I can only speak like for Ernie Irvin. Had it been 400-mile race earlier in the spring, he would have been the winner. You will have to sprint race today. That extra 100 miles, no matter what anybody tells you, puts a bigger tax on the race car. 24
degrees of banking in the corners. The straightaway is only 9 degrees. The straights are 1,076 feet long. Field about to get the 1 to go signal as we take a look at Morgan Shepherd. Going to hop and board that car effective next season again, but they decided to go ahead and do it here this weekend. There's Mark Martin on the push pole, his 35th career pole. Wayman Hutt Strickland starting 8th, and he's had some good runs here. Bobby Labonte, he's got the Interstate Batteries machine. Herman the German, Kenny Wallace starting 19th, and Mr. Mac tonight, Bill Elliott. He'll be going from the 13th spot. A quick check down on the pit lane. Steve Burns.
Hey, guys, all athletes have a pregame meal. No different here in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, except usually it's hamburgers. Not here in the Cranifus Hoss pits. They had grilled Virginia buffalo, grilled ostrich, baby French beans with toasted pecans, and don't forget the Russian fingerling potatoes. And look at this, their own executive chef. This is Winslow Goudier. Look, he's even got the embroidery here of the race team. And as they say down south, that's pretty good groceries.
What was that? Russian chitlins? What was that?
Well, about halfway, they're going to run up the bank, start kicking and jumping in the air.
Oh, Lord. That's something.
Well, 400 miles here. Last time Rockingham got cut down to 400 miles. The winner was Ward Burton. They cut Darlington down to 400 miles in 95, and Sterling Marlin was the winner. So see what happens here. First 400 miler.
Getting set to go. There you see the manufacturer's points as they stack up going into the start of the Mbna 400. 400 laps around this certified 1-mile racetrack. 400 miles. Green flag about to be thrown. Rodney Wise from Magnolia, Delaware, handling the starter chores for NASCAR Winston Cup Series racing today, and we're underway here at Dover Downs. getting around this speedway. Don Andretti caught to the outside there.
The outside is not the place you want to be right now. There's not an awful lot of rubber up there. We had a heavy rain last night that washed some of the rubber off from the Grand National race. You want to follow that exact line number 6 Mark Martin is running. That's the fast way.
Eli, what you call this? They're actually cleaning the track right now. It looks to be a big race going on, but right now they're blowing all the dust, all the rubber dust, and things that accumulate on racetracks overnight. They're blowing that off. You can see it on that first lap. There's just dust flying everywhere.
And John Andretti lost 6 spots by being up high.
That Chad Little machine running in 10th, challenging 9th with Rick Mast in the 75.
Mast, the former pole winner here at Dover, ran very well here in June.
Schrader in the 33, who won his last race here in June of '91. They'll move up. Both men will. Rick Mast losing a couple of spots.
Talking to Goodyear's engineers yesterday, they said it takes about 3 laps for these tires to get enough heat in them to really work well on the surface. So right now, the race pace will pick up, and these guys will start going at it.
And later on today, Glenn is going to have a very interesting look at the tire story here as the battle for the lead goes easily to Jeff Gordon. He'll bring Jarrett along with him.
That's very important to Jeff Gordon right now. This is 5 bonus points. He leads that lap, so this is important to a guy chasing for the national championship. It's kind of ironic. The top 3 guys are racing each other right now. They got their eye on the people they're trying to beat in the point system.
This really does mimic what we saw during happy hour here yesterday. After the first 5 or 6 laps, Jeff Gordon really got quick. Not that he wasn't quick to start with, mind you, but that car really got quick, and he just took off during the final practice runs here yesterday after the NASCAR Busch Series race.
Speaking of that car, Doctor, I know that they were just about to make an antique of this car. That race car is called Blacker there.
Yeah, and Jeff Gordon has won 41% of his Winston Cup victories in that exact car. He says the thing is really kind of out of date. It doesn't look that out of date right now as it's leading, but it's a bit out of date. They have better cars in the garage, but he said, I feel so comfortable in this. The wheel is right. The seat is right. And of course, he wins all the time in it, so he's going to run it. And when he gets ready to retire it, he wants it for his museum. We'll have to talk about that with Rick Hendrick, I'm sure.
I think the most remarkable stat when you talk about Jeff Gordon, every 5.1 times that he climbs into a race car on race day, he wins. Every 5.1 times over the course of his career, he has won, with this being career start number 150. The early stages of the Mbna 400 is on TNN.
Yeah, Mark is not going to.
And I'll tell you, there he goes.
While we were away, first, no, that's not a jam.
Jarrett may get him back, so we won't even notice him.
Oh, you're. You know somebody is running well. Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte.
Surprise there.
Oh,
It's a great shot.
you know, every time I ever turned on the racetrack and looked back at a car like that, I was in trouble.
I just hope the car we're riding in doesn't slow down because those guys are passing us.
That's a neat shot.
Yeah.
It really is.
Boy, we got the best car by far. Look.
Yeah, we do.
Oh. Wait a minute. Waltrip's moving up. Look. Wait. You know how far? You know what? He's less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's less than 9 seconds to going a lap down right now. Yo. Ying. Oh, there it is. Plus 52. Robert Presley moving up on Ernie Irvin there. A stellar run by the young gentleman. I say.
The Mbna 400, the battle for the lead is as you see it right there, with Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin. Dale Jarrett now running in third, and this is for the top spot off turn number 2.
Mark Martin just put it in overdrive about 4 laps ago. Went by Dale Jarrett, drove some 20 car lengths off from him, called Jeff Gordon back, and just blew him away.
They go, meanwhile, Joe Nemechek, Ricky Craven in the 25, Hud Strickland in the 8. See the little bit up off the bottom, that Dick Trickle move, that's all it took.
If you get up right now, the cars are really getting a good grip around the bottom part of the racetrack. Later on, I think the groove will get better up high, but right now, right around the base of the racetrack where they're making their time.
When you see a guy get up in that second lane and somebody gets underneath him, the other thing you will invariably see is a whole line of cars trying to do exactly the same thing. They'll do the absolute best possible job they can to close and take that position. That is the best way to pass here at Dover.
You can see some of the cars. We were looking at Dick Trickle's car. He actually run off on the blacktop getting into the corner. That's how low he was getting in.
Back now to 24th spot. Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt in the 3. Ernie Irvin in the 28. Michael's had good runs here for the Wood brothers. Matter of fact, Michael has finished 11th or better in his 3 Dover races in the 21. Of course, there's Dale Earnhardt, and there's Bobby Labonte just making a move around Dale Jarrett. Glenn, your brother's lost a couple of spots here in the last few laps.
Yes, he has, Eli, and they're already talking about the car being loose. They were very concerned yesterday in practice. In happy hour, the car was real tight, so they changed about everything on it except the driver, and now they've got it a little loose. They're going to make a track bar adjustment on it first chance they get. Also, Mark Martin is the only guy out there who is saying that his car feels really good. Gordon complains of his car being a little tight getting in, but most everybody we're hearing are saying loose, loose, loose.
By the way, speaking of drivers, Glenn, nice picture of you in Winston Cup scene this week from your youthful days as a driver. You see that? He was interviewed by Gary Gerald. They had a snapshot picture.
He's wore the edge out 4 mirrors since that was taken.
Ricky Craven and Joe Nemechek. That is 5th and 6th on the Speedway right now. Of course, across the top of the screen, you'll see NASCAR timing and scoring throughout the course of the afternoon, so you'll know how everybody's doing.
Craven in that 25 finds this to be one of his very best racetracks. Yesterday in the Grand National event, he led the first 72 laps before the engine in his car blew up. Scott Maxon, his longtime friend, says if it's a thinking man's racetrack, if a guy can think his way through, that's a racetrack for Ricky Craven. Wow, look at the close action here.
That's Michael Waltrip, 21. Earnhardt in the 3. That black number 11, Brett Bodine, now without sponsor. He is looking again. And there's Ernie Irvin in the 28. Again, Michael is riding up just a little bit. So Ernie and Earnhardt will grab up to 22nd and 23rd spots. There's Robert Presley in the 77.
You know, we were talking about Earnhardt and everybody moving up so well, but going right along with him, Robert Presley in the 77 looks mighty strong right now. The car seems to be working well for him.
Another fella moving up.
Yep, Terry Labonte, he'll work to the inside. There you see Earnhardt and Ernie Irvin. That is 22nd and 23rd. If you're following the Jeff Green machine, he's on pit road. Hood is up as Irvin goes around Earnhardt, heading into turn number 1. What's the update on the Jeff Green car?
Eli, it seems like the monster may have already reached out and grabbed hold of his first victim. It appears that there's an oil leak someplace on the 29 car. They think it may be around the oil reservoir or the tank. They're checking it over.
So we'll keep you updated there as you see Kyle Petty, number 44. He's moving up, and they changed engines on that car this morning. He's now in 13. Runs well here. They cranked the engine first thing when the garage opened, and they just didn't like something that they saw. They said, let's change the power plant. That's what they were busy doing this morning.
Yeah, they did see some problems with that engine, but that car was the fastest car yesterday afternoon in the last practice session here, and that's usually a very good gauge as to how a race car is going to run during an event. Matt?
Well, I talked to Bobby Kennedy this morning. He said the key word today is going to be survival. Kyle and I have talked it over and over and over. Let's just take our time, keep the nose on it, keep ourselves out of trouble so we don't get rear-ended, don't knock the toe out. If we can have this car in the top 10 by lap 300, we've got a great shot to go back to victory lane. Kyle's last win came right here at Dover back in June of 1995.
Turn number 2 now. That view as they work the back straightaway, and Freddie in the 98 trying to get around. Chad Little there in the 97. Kyle in the 44. They're battling for 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then the June winner, the Tide Machine, Ricky Rudd now in the picture. Ricky running in 14th spot. Jeff Green has taken his car to the garage area after the problem they're having with oil, the oil system. They'll continue to look at what is amiss in the garage area. First in. There's
You see Rusty Wallace,
yeah.
he got down on the flat there and got the back end of the car kind of sideways in the center part of the corner. Jeff Bodine in the 7 there, just behind him. These guys are trying to get through this traffic because the leaders are really setting the pace right now that they stand to get lapped if they don't get going pretty quick.
There are the leaders right now, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. As a matter of fact, they are closing in now within just 4 seconds of putting Darrell Waltrip a lap down.
I was just establishing how fast they're coming
That's
through
great.
these guys, you
That's
know,
great.
because they know they can't sit there. I mean, they're going to have to start rooting and gouging here pretty soon.
Just watch Rusty rooting and gouging right there.
Well, you see, there's Labonte right there. And look right here.
Yeah,
They're right behind him.
I know it.
Let's get the from Darrell back to Mark is just 2.1 now.
Yeah. And then when
Hey, Pam, would you ask Mark Kuchin what Dennis McGlynn's
I
wife's
tell you
name
what,
is,
Robert
please?
Presley's driving this hard out. He's giving
Is it
Earnhardt.
Louise?
Well, he better be careful driving his heart
Thank
out
you.
this early.
Look
Yeah,
on the outside.
I know.
Unbelievable. He passed him on the outside so far.
Been a beautiful weekend here at Dover Downs Speedway in Delaware. Dennis McGlynn and his wife Louise, always such gracious hosts whenever the NASCAR Winston Cup and Busch Series teams and TNN Motorsports come to town. This racetrack, boy, has it grown up. Did you see this track a little bit on Days of Thunder yesterday?
It was incredible. Last night it was playing in the motel, and I watched it a bit, and I just couldn't believe it, Eli. The pictures, now that's not that old a movie, but the pictures of this place show the turns, no grandstands in the turns. Today, these turns are completely surrounded by grandstands, and every seat is filled. It's not because of Days of Thunder, folks. It's because of the show. That's what's done it.
There you see Chad Little on back with Rusty Wallace. Fastest laps by a race leader thus far. Brought to you by MCI, who asked you, is this a great time or what? Lap 34 of 400 here at Dover Downs. And again, Chad Little drifts up. He'll lose 14th spot. Can he get in line ahead of Jeff Bodine?
Rusty Wallace is the number 2 car. We're rather used to seeing him drive a car called Snake here, but last week at New Hampshire, that was Snake, and Rusty's crew says Snake is probably dead. Got run over.
Snake has left the building.
Yeah, so this is PR3. This race car has never won an event, so they're rather hoping it can take over where Snake kind of left off, I guess.
Snake is dead. Long live the
The
snake.
Snake, yes.
Well, that 28 moving in there, certainly not a snake. That's Ernie Irvin. He's on the move. He's running this group down the full straightaway back, and he's putting them away. When he catches somebody, he don't waste time getting by.
And Dick, what you talked about in the pre-race segment is we see Jeff Bodine and Ward Burton now take advantage of that little slip up the banking by Rusty. That we are seeing 2 solid grooves, folks. You can see that black on the otherwise white cliffs of Dover. That heavy rain here last night, like you speculated, really didn't hurt the racing surface.
It didn't. We're seeing 2 grooves here, and I think as this race wears on, we're going to see them develop even more and more. Kenny Wallace has just pulled into the pits for an unscheduled stop.
He'd already lost a couple of laps. He was going around the speedway at a greatly reduced rate of speed, and he'll come in at lap number 37.
That's big brother, Rusty, in the number 2 car. Good shot. That's coming out of the second corner. They got that camera buried into the infield.
That's a thin cameraman down there.
Yeah, we'll see if that camera's still there at the end of the event.
Ernie Irvan around Rick Mast. David Green trying to do likewise. Can't quite. Ernie started in 31st position, and there you see his progression towards the front.
Eli, now he's using every bit of this racetrack up. He goes in on the bottom and goes way up in the center part of the corner. He diamonds up. Right now he's just trying to get by Chad Little any way he can, but he goes kind of high. You see how high he is there? Now he cuts back down low to come off the corner, gets a good straight run off the corner, but he's doing what he can right now to get by these cars because he knows the leaders are coming.
He's strong here.
He sure is.
He's led the last 8 Dover races in a row. Nobody else has done that. Crashed out of the lead in the last 2 Dover races in a row. 29 laps to go here in June. Ernie Irvan leading in the 28. Hits some oil up in the first turn and boom, into the wall he went.
Matter of fact, the Robert Gates team led 406 of the 500 laps here in June between Ernie and Dale Jarrett. We told you Kenny Wallace was on pit road, Steve. He'd already gone a couple of laps down on the track. What's the deal?
Boy, they were bad loose. In fact, Kenny Wallace radioed in and said, this is so loose, it's unbelievable. Check this out. They turned 5 rounds of wedge, changed 4 tires, and made an air pressure adjustment. But he said it's so loose, it's unbelievable.
And there is Kenny Wallace now, who's being shown in 41st position. Now 4 laps down. Brett Bodine goes by. Morgan Shepard in the 1 goes by. And this is going to be one of those days for Kenny Wallace, as Bobby Hamilton in the STP Pontiac also will go by. Back to this good battle. Here goes Ernie Irvan again. Remember, this is the 17th spot if he can grab it away from Chad Little.
Well, he's got the preferred line now. He should put him away coming off the corner there. But Chad Little's running very well. It took him about 6 laps to get by him. Now you see everybody's trying to make that move. Chad cannot hold his car down in the corner.
There's Dale Earnhardt. In the last 8 years here, 6 top 5 finishes with wins in 1989 and 1993. Matter of fact, Earnhardt led 90 laps here last September, you might remember, while still recovering from the injuries at Talladega. High above Dover Downs. We now come back land side, and we'll take a look at 3rd place for you. Bobby Labonte ahead of Dale Jarrett.
That didn't take very long, and we've had a report that Dale Jarrett's having a terrible time with the loose race car. Bobby Labonte there looks to be very good. You see him passing Sterling Marlin, who was already a lap down.
And remember Sterling here in June, he lost 2 laps on the first lap of the Speedway. They went over some debris, lost a couple of laps, and then hung around all day to finish very well at 10th spot. Never did make those laps back, but they ran well. But here already, they've gone a lap down. Skinner is a lap down. Darrell Waltrip, Dave Marcus, Gary Granberry. They have all gone laps down already in the first 46 laps of the MBNA 400. We're right back. What do we have to drink up here?
Water?
What? I got one here. Thanks. Ariel.
Any way you want to turn it, do the math. Reach over and say, slap you, man, turn it.
That'll do it. I can read the whole thing now.
Anything going on in the pits at all? Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Barely. Look how the traffic and the fact that Gordon and Martin are getting loose has tightened things up. Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, and Ricky Craven are catching the leaders. Martin, meanwhile, says his is just a tick loose, so they need to tighten it up. Everybody is talking loose now.
Yeah. You can see it, too.
Is Kyle Petty running the bottom, or is he drifted up a little bit?
I'll check him out. where's he at? Okay, he ought to be right in there. There he is.
He's up.
He's on the bottom. He's right on the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
Right around the rim.
He's a bottom dweller.
Yep. Let me see where he runs here. Right on the bottom.
Yes, thank you.
He's a lane lower than everybody else.
Perfect, thank you.
Go by some cars.
He and Kyle, we want you guys handling worth a look.
Watch him right here.
Watch that 22.
Watch him when he
running
jacks
well,
it
too.
right there.
High above Dover Downs International Speedway, running lap number 52, a race led by Mark Martin. The camera you're watching is courtesy of Durashine Advanced Auto Polish. Just wipe it on, hose it off. Durashine now available at Pep Boys, Western Auto, Kmart, and Target Auto Stores. Don't forget, folks, looking for a good place to take the family? How about the official destination of NASCAR, Opryland, USA? Give them a call at 615-889-6611. That phone line is available Monday through Friday for all details on one of America's great family destinations, Opryland, USA in Nashville, Tennessee. Eli Gold with Buddy Baker, Dick Bergman, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum, and Steve Burns. As we are with you at Dover Downs International Speedway, the number 1, that's Morgan Shepherd in 30th, about to go a lap down. You know something, Glenn? You can probably count on the fingers of one hand the cars that are not loose right now.
You're exactly right, Eli. In fact, the only guy that I've heard ever can see is Ernie Irvin. His car appears to be pretty good. Mark Martin says his is just a tick loose. They're going to adjust it with air pressure. Ray Evernham says Jeff's car is just a little bit loose. The same with Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett. Everybody reporting loose. We've run a little over halfway through this run here. They're going to start pitting around lap 85 to lap 90. So they're already making plans to tighten those cars up. What about your guys, Steve Burns?
Hey, Glenn, Ricky Rudd won here in June, extending his consecutive streak of winning a race of the year to 14. He won again at the Brickyard, a huge payday, over $570,000. But in the 6 races since then, his average finish is 27. He's gone from 8th in the point to 11th. Just talked to his crew. He says he is really skating around on the racetrack. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Ernie Irvin started way back in the field. He's rocking it up to the front. He is complaining his car is a tad tight. They will try to loosen him up with some air pressure on the first run of pit stop. We are already past halfway of this first run. Most teams are expecting to pit around lap 88. An update on Kyle Petty. He's hugging the bottom. He's a bottom driller today. He told me if I can keep the car on the bottom, we will be fast. And that's where he's been running his car also, just a tick tight.
Kyle is in 9th right now. Ward Burton looks to be visually handling well. He's running in 12th. There you see Bill Elliott and then Kyle Petty. Watch the line Kyle takes going through the corners. You'll see what Matt was talking about. There you see Ernie Irvin bypassing Dick Trickle as he'll climb closer to the front. 14th spot now for Ernie.
You don't see him hugging the bottom, do you? Ernie goes into that turn. He goes in so hard, the car comes right up into the second lane, and he's going to come back down again in order to execute the exit of the turn.
He's kind of a cut from the past as far as making his driving style fit whatever the car's doing. He goes up and looks for places to run. Last weekend in New Hampshire, when the racetrack got really loose, he drove the car loose. All sideways off the corner. He just does whatever it takes to get that car to the front.
Give Rusty Wallace 15th with that move around Ricky Rudd. Working lap 59 of 400. Just 400 miles, 400 laps here at Dover this time by.
Struggling from the back of the pack. That's been his real problem late this year, is having to run from the back of the pack. In fact, he's had 4 provisionals in the last 9 races. Started 22nd here today. could only get the qualifying squared away so he could start up front, maybe Rusty could start winning races again, like this team really deserves to win races.
Of course, he won 3 in a row here at Dover, the fall of '93, and swept both races here in '94. So if there's anybody who knows how to drive this racetrack, it's Rusty Wallace.
Rusty's very good here. He seems to get better as the race goes. I think he's a tough guy. This car right here kind of slipped through the net a while ago as far as anybody paying any attention. I think that's the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment. He's currently 5th, and he's just doing a great job out there. He's running right by himself, but he's closing in on the leaders at a fast pace.
And likes this track. He has twice won the Busch Pole for NASCAR Busch Series races here at Dover Downs International Speedway.
And last week's race at New Hampshire, where he finished 5th, has got to have given him a good bit of confidence. A lot more smiles on this team this weekend as opposed to weekends past where they were struggling. They know they can run well. They know, most importantly, however, that they can finish in the top 5 because they just did it the last time out.
We told you Jeff Green is in the garage area. He'll now be joined by Kenny Wallace as you watch the battle right here for second spot. 97 is already a lap down, Chad Little. You've got Jeff Gordon in the 24, Dale Jarrett in the 88 for second.
Well, if Kenny Wallace doesn't come out of the garage, it's going to give him 11 DNFs on the year, which will tie he and his brother, the Wallace brothers, 11 DNFs each.
Handling problems, the earlier report on Kenny Wallace. Maybe they can do some more work in the garage area.
You know, Eli, it's not who's slipping right now, it's who's slipping the most. The ones that are not slipping, Jarrett was reported earlier to be very loose. Right now, you can see him go in the corner. He's giving that car a good lead there. Turns right back down. He's not wearing his tires a whole bunch. I think he's slowing down the straightaway and running the corners pretty well at a faster pace than Gordon. You see Gordon kind of slipping up the racetrack right there. He's hunting a place to race.
And through it all, those guys are only 9/10 of a second behind the race leader, Mark Martin. There's Ernie Irvan again, left of your screen. And Andretti behind him. That's 13th and 14th spot right now.
Change on Andretti's crew between last week and this week. They brought Jason Enders in as a new rear tire changer. Recall that they had problems last week, lost time in the pits changing tires. They have spent the entire week practicing twice a day with that number 98 team.
The practice makes perfect department. As we go to the leader, there is Mark Martin in the 6, putting Mr. Excitement a lap down. 27th place now going a lap down here at Dover.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. Hey, Glenn?
Yeah, go ahead.
When do you want to do your deal on the 77?
Anytime. If you mention to Robert, then throw it to me. If you mention or talk about Robert, then just get it down to me.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do it anytime.
All right. We'll set that up.
Okay, thanks, Eli.
Pam?
I'll tell you what, Terry Labonte's going to get down a lap soon.
It's amazing. Of course, you don't have any cautions. That's what happens.
Yeah.
He went and messed with the thermostat.
Trickle's dropping back. Buddy, what do you make of Gordon running so high up when he goes in? He's way up to the
He's
top.
just trying to hold on to the racetrack right now.
Got
See where he's at there?
Yeah, I mean, he goes way up.
He's just hunting somewhere he can hold on. He can't run low right now.
Kenny Wallace back on the racetrack.
Good.
Guys, I know you know
15 down.
that Craven's catching Bobby Labonte, but Bobby's catching the 24 car, so this is going to tighten up in that
Here's
area.
Morgan making his stop at 71.
Yeah, that looks more like, now they come in so slow, it looks like something's wrong.
There you see Mark Martin bypassing Johnny Benson in the number 30 machine. That is 25th place going a lap down. Mark Martin, yes, he's running that well. Plus, we have been so far caution-free. And that lets everybody go a lap down if you're not running just perfectly. I mean, even Terry Labonte, look through the windshield forward. That's Terry Labonte who is about to go a lap down. And Matt, that's strange. He's running 24th, but just can't keep up with anybody today. Mark Martin's just going right by everyone.
Eli, he was a little loose and happy there. Gary Duhel told me they tried to tighten him up, trying some different shots and spring combinations. They were hoping to hit upon the right combinations. Now they just hope to make him last until the first round of pit stop so they can go for a major overhaul on their setup. Give a call to Jeff Burton. He started way back with a provisional today. They have worked their way up into the top 15. They're having a good run. Tony Liberati told me if they had to kind of go with a setup that both Jeff and Todd Bodine, who may have to fill in later today, both would be comfortable with. So they kind of went with what each sort of like, and they get upon a combination that is taking them to the front.
Kenny Wallace came out of the garage after a 15-lap stay, made one lap, and has gone back to the garage area. So we'll keep you informed on Kenny's progress as you ride with Mark Martin. And close in even more on 24th place Terry Labonte.
Eli, I think that Mark Martin is such a technician as far as once he gets in a groove. Right now he has no pressure from anybody. He's running this racetrack almost perfect. He's putting some great race cars a lap down right now. And just in front of him up here, the big story today is Jeff Burton. He's in 4th in the points, running along here with an inner ear infection. He stands to go a lap down. He's just up the racetrack about a half a straightaway ahead of him.
There goes 24th place a lap down.
Incredible that Mark Martin has never won here. 4 second-place finishes, no victories here at Dover.
He was second here in May.
Yep, with his same car, by the way.
Yeah. He was 5th here a year ago. As you see that battle now for 3rd, Gordon and Labonte. You realize that Mark Martin, I saw this in a note the other day, as you see 3rd place swinging right around, give it to the Interstate Batteries machine. You realize that Mark Martin in the decade of the 90s is second only to Dale Earnhardt in the number of points that he's amassed over the races?
Eli, you just, every time you look up near the end of the race, you say, Mark Martin, where is he? Can he win? Because you know he's in the top 5.
There you see Kenny Schrader in the 33. Sterling Marlin making a pit stop now. We're at lap 79, closing in on scheduled stops for all of the leaders. We're early at Dover. We are back. Mark Martin continues to lead. He has put Dick Trickle a lap down over the course of the last few moments. It means he is now lapped all the way to 21st spot. Some pit stops have taken place. As you see, 2nd place Jarrett. There's Nemechek in 8th spot and Jeff Bodine in 9th. And Jeff has come up nicely. He'll make the spot change right there. Starting in 25th spot did Jeff Bodine. He grabs that position away. Dick Trickle making his pit stop here at lap number 85. Johnny Benson is in. Steve Grissom is in. Jeff Burton made a stop while you were off on a commercial break. There was no driver change there.
Rusty Wallace almost crashed coming in. He come in so hard he missed the entrance to pit road and almost hit the tire barrier in the pit road. Luckily, he made it into the pits.
Let's go to Steve Burns.
Dick Trickle in. Remember, he started 4th today. He runs this racetrack well. They took 2 rounds of wedge, 4 tires. Trickle's down. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Rusty Wallace already out pit road. The Flying Beast has already had the right side tires on. They're going to work on the left. Billy Wilburn already done. Rusty Wallace is down and away. They're going to try to tighten him up on this first stop.
Here comes Jeff Gordon now. Jeff Gordon having backslid to 5th spot. There's Joe Nemechek making his stop. Both of these stops, Gordon and Nemechek, will be at 87. And here's Michael Waltrip in the wall. Caution is on the speedway. This is going to jumble things around. Ricky Craven obviously getting a piece of the incident, and we are under caution. Lap number 88 as Michael Waltrip ends up in the wall. Jeff Gordon did not pit at all. He went right through the pit lane and continues on. And here we told you is Ricky Craven, who was also involved in that incident, as he'll be coming to the attention of the crew. All of this at lap number 88. Now to Matt Yoakum.
Eli, this is going to be a long stop for Ricky Craven. He ran over a piece of debris. It broke a big hole in the front valence. It's gone in and knocked into the oil cooler. The thing is dripping oil pretty big. The crew's going to work. It's going to be a long time here on pit road for Ricky Craven. Another bad luck day for the Mbna.
Now remember, lead lap cars that had already pitted were Kenny Schrader, Joe Nemechek, Ward Burton, Rusty Wallace, Steve Grissom, and Jeff Burton. Those were the cars among the leaders that had already made a pit stop before this incident here that puts Michael Waltrip in the wall at lap number 88. And there goes Craven. The crew's going to have to work behind the wall, as you heard Matt Yoakum say. A good bit of damage on the automobile. Well, that's too bad. He was one of the strongest cars today, guys.
He was.
You just got to wonder about this guy's luck. I mean, he did earlier this year pick up a piece of a brake rotor that came through a radiator and put him behind the wall as well. Michael Waltrip waving it. He's okay, climbing out of his car. That's a bit of treachery. The bank is so steep just to get out of a race car there and manage to get yourself down the bank. Tough day for Ricky Craven.
And Dale Earnhardt now, with other teams having pitted, has moved up to 10th spot. So if you're following the pursuits of Dale Earnhardt to try and get back to victory lane, he is now in 10th. We'll set it all for you when we come back under caution at the Monster Mile. The Mbna 400 is live on TNN Motorsports. And there you see Joe Nemechek. He had come down pit road, but also never did make a stop, and he is likely out of fuel. Kenny Schrader also, I am told, in that same predicament. He came down the pit lane, but as the accident happened, he began to head back onto the racetrack, and he too is close to being out of fuel. There you see the 37 machine as Jeremy Mayfield will come in here at lap number 91 under caution. Nemechek right there, having been pushed by his corporate teammate Robbie Gordon back towards the pit area as track cleanup continues out in turn number 2 after Michael Waltrip found himself in the wall to bring out the first caution flag of the day. Pit stops are going to be upcoming for most of the teams here. The fellas who came down pit road did so with the pit lane still closed. Pit road is not officially opened. It will this time around.
And they will all pit, at least all the cars in the lead line. And they're all going to take 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel, give the driver a drink of water, give him about 17 seconds to relax, and off he goes again.
Pit stops now. If you're wondering about Jeff Gordon, 13th place is where he came back out onto the racetrack after going through his pit stall and electing not to stop. These stops are at lap number 92 for the race leaders. Mark Martin is in. You're riding with him. Dale Jarrett, Labonte. That's Bobby Labonte. All the rest of the leaders, Glenn.
And here comes Mark Martin. As I told you, his car was getting just a little bit loose. They will change 4 tires and gladly put some fuel in it. They're also going to make a chassis adjustment on the right side. Also a little bit of air pressure adjustment. And now let's go to Steve Burns. They've already got the right side and the left side. Steve, what you got there in Dale Jarrett?
Well, Glenn, you were exactly right earlier. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. They're going to go down a 1/4 inch. They changed 4 tires, and we think a slight air pressure adjustment.
Back to Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, thanks, Eli. Jeff Gordon comes in, and this is where that will really hurt him. They're making a chassis adjustment on him. Also, air pressure will be 4 tires, but he lost a lot of positions on the racetrack, but he didn't lose a lap. But he's going to come out in about 14th, 15th, 16th place. So that little stroll down pit road right before the caution came out definitely hurt him track position-wise.
And And there you see the 77 car coming out right behind. Robert Presley driving the Jasper Engines Federal Mogul entry, and there you see him. And Glenn Jarrett, you were in that 77 pit much of last weekend as well at New Hampshire International Speedway.
I was, Eli, and I would like to take this opportunity right now to apologize to all the guys on the 77 crew. The car came in for a long stay on pit road. I'm being pushed around down here. Let me get out of the way. Now I can slow down. They had a long stay on pit road, and they had a problem. They worked on it. They sent Robert back out, and something happened on the racetrack, and he crashed. And I erroneously speculated that the crew might have left something loose. In other words, I put my big foot in my mouth. My brain flew out of gear, but my mouth kept running. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to indicate that you did something wrong. There was a problem on the racetrack. So please accept my apology. I'll try to do better next time.
Glenn Jarrett down on the pit lane. There's the King. He's a many-time winner here at the Monster Mile. We're coming right. Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you. Glad you're with us here. Yep, we see it. Glad to see you with us here at the Monster Mile. Let's set the field for you as we ride around with Morgan Shepherd for a moment. Here's who's where. There are 15 cars currently being shown on the lead lap. Mark Martin is the leader. Dale Jarrett is second. Bobby Labonte third, Kyle Petty is fourth, and Jeff Bodine is fifth. Ernie Irvin is sixth, Bill Elliott seventh, Ricky Rudd is eighth, Dale Earnhardt ninth, and John Andretti 10th. 11th is Rick Mast. 12th will be Jeff Gordon. 13th, Robert Presley. 14th is Kenny Schrader, and 15th is Hut Strickland. Those 15 cars are on the lead lap. The others who were trying to stay there had made their pit stop just prior to that caution flag coming out. Some had to make a second pit stop. So those 15 machines are currently on the lead lap. As we continue under caution, time to bring you this tech fact from the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Here's compound to the garage area. Here again, Glenn Jarrett.
Wow, I'm a busy guy today, and this guy I'm talking to right now, Michael Waltrip's day is over. Tremendous damage to the Citgo Ford. Michael, what happened?
Just as I let off the gas coming down the front straightaway, the right rear tire just exploded, blew out going into turn one, and I wound up in the wall. The car, like you said, tore all to pieces. Eddie and the Wood brothers have worked so hard this weekend to give us a competitive car. We had a good run going, and just had that tire go away on us. I want to tell Buffy I'm fine. You know, no scratches, bumps, or bruises. Everything's cool, and I'll be home in a little while. And, you know, just chalk this one up to a bad day at the office.
Buffy, you know he's not fine, but he's not any worse than normal. Here's Steve Burns.
Well, Glenn, Dale Jarrett couldn't have come in a second sooner on that last caution. They were about out of gas. In fact, crew chief Todd Barrett was asking the NASCAR official, please open pit road, and told Dale Jarrett to rock the car back and forth to pick up fuel. Also, Dale Jarrett is reporting that he's not hearing he may be having a radio problem. He's not hearing those guys very well in the car. And Ricky Craven is just now climbing out of his car. They continue to work with the hood up. We'll see right now if we can get a word with him. Ricky, looks like a short afternoon for you.
Gosh, you know, the car was good. It really moved up the fifth and having some fun like last week, and a piece of debris off Michael's car just bounced in front of us.
Okay, Ricky, let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Great pit work by the Hot Wheels crew. Kyle Petty came in fourth, and he went out for an 18.4-second four-tire stop. They adjusted to pick up his tight condition. They also put a piece of tape on the grill. The water temperature was a little low, so they fixed that. He said the car is great. He goes, I'm not even pushing it, and we're going to the front. So look out, especially the fact that these guys are pitting way down towards turn 4, and they came out in the same position they went in. Great stop.
Of course, Kyle Petty started 23rd and is now running in 4th. Don't forget, folks, NASCAR Thunder stores are now available to you. Matter of fact, stores in Atlanta, Winston-Salem, Knoxville, Dallas, Cincinnati at the Kenwood Town Center. The Oxmoor Center location in Louisville, Kentucky opened up on the 12th of this month. And opening up on Friday, October the 3rd, the Hamilton Place in Chattanooga, Tennessee will be the next NASCAR Thunder store opening. Then before long, Phoenix, Mobile, Alabama, Richmond, Virginia. NASCAR Thunder, race on in to the official store of NASCAR.
Before they get back under the green, just to talk a little bit about Kyle Petty, he seems to master the miles. He really runs super well here. He runs well at Rockingham. You watch him today. If he stays in this thing and does not have problems with his car, he's going to be a big player.
Jeff Bodine started 25th. He's now 5th. Ernie Irvan started 31st. He's now 6th. Dale Earnhardt started 33rd. He is now 9th. A lot of guys making some big-time moves here. But only 15 cars remain on the lead lap.
Last time Kyle Petty said anything as nice as that about a vehicle, if it wasn't a motorcycle, think of how long ago that must have been.
Well, they got a motor now.
They sure do. They're running well.
Jeff Gordon restarting in 12th as Rodney Wise shows him the green, and here we go. A quarter of the way through the Mbna 400. Gary Bradbury there, that car in the middle that everybody's trying to split. First lap on the restart, a clean one, though not without its moments of tension.
Gordon's in a pile of traffic now.
He's got Robert Presley there on the 77 right behind him. Robert's on the lead lap.
I tell you, he's on the lead lap. He looks like he's running just as fast as Gordon as they start off the corner there. He's not giving anything up down the straightaway and certainly handling well in the corner.
But these are the moments you worry about when you're leading the national championship points. Being in traffic, restarts, a very difficult racetrack like Dover. He's got it all sorted out now. Everybody's done a nice job. Gordon now looking for the 75 of Mast on the bottom.
Rick is in 11. Now he's in 12. Now he's in 13. Not a good turn right there for Rick Mast.
No, when he went up to let Gordon go there, he could see Gordon was much quicker. This early in the race, Eli, there's a lot of give and take on the racetrack. There's no point in holding the guy up that's quite a bit quicker. You look in there, if he closes down 8 or 10 car lengths in a couple of laps, there's no point in fighting him right this early. Adjust your car and then fight him when they pay money for it.
Don Andretti is 10th. Jeff Gordon looking outside. He'll power by him.
That was impressive.
Yes.
That's that outside groove I told you. As they go along, that outside groove will get faster and faster, and the guys will get more confident. They'll lay that car on the outside. The one thing you got to be careful of, though, when you come back down low and get off the corner, that nobody's on your quarter pounder.
3 wins here in the last 4 races for that number 24 of Jeff Gordon. 103 laps complete of 400.
10 wins so far in 1997. The most anybody has won in the modern era is 13. That's Richard Petty. This might beat that record.
Bill Elliott in the 94, Ricky Rudd in the 10. That's 7th and 8th positions now that they're battling for. Heading towards turn number 3.
Elliott has run so very, very well the last several weeks, but he says, all I need is a little luck. He said, I'll tell you what my luck is like. He said, if a horseshoe dropped off that number 24 car, I'd probably run over it.
Jeff Gordon again uses the outside. He'll grab 9th away from Dale Earnhardt.
You talk about a car on the rail right now. Of course, the tires are pretty fresh right now, and he's really using them up right now. I would imagine right now that everybody's talking, saying, remember, we got to go to the next stop.
There you see Bobby Labonte in the 18, losing a spot to Ernie Irvan. That'll be 4th. That swaps around right there, so put Ernie in 4th, and Bobby Labonte back to 5th. The race leader is Mark Martin, by the way. If you're just tuning in, took over at lap 16 and has not been headed since. Mark led the first 4 laps, and Jeff Gordon led the next few.
You're wondering how strong Ernie Irvan is. Reminder, he started way back in the pack, 31st. And right now, Ernie Irvan is running in 4th position and still marching forward.
Exactly the same thing in New Hampshire last week. Started very far back, started 40th as a matter of fact, drove that car to 2nd. Ernie Irvan, I'll tell you what, you talk about a diamond. Now that's a diamond in a race car. They can say what they want to. He's reckless at times, but he gets everything that race car has to offer.
If you're a race fan, you ought to have a number 28 Ernie Irvan t-shirt. Tell you what, this guy is something to watch.
He really is. Jeff Green's back on the track. He's 71 laps down Glenn Jarrett. So right now only Michael Waltrip and Ricky Craven in the garage.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that would like to see that caution come a little earlier, Eli, so they could adjust on their cars. I'm watching Jeff Gordon and his march back up through the pack there, but I got to caution you about one thing. You know, his car was real strong in the early stages, about the first 50 or 55 laps of that green flag run a while ago. Then it went away from him a little bit. He's going to use up a lot of rubber getting back around this traffic. I think it's going to hurt him later on in this run if it goes a full 80 or 90 laps under green.
Kyle Petty makes 2nd place look easy there as he gets around Dale Jarrett. So Kyle now chasing down the race leader. He is still 1 3/10 seconds down. Kyle is. But the man whose last victory came here a couple of years ago has those Hot Wheels guys dreaming of victory lane again. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the MBNA 400 is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. Welcome back, everybody. We are live at Dover Downs International Speedway. You're looking at Jeff Gordon in 6th spot. Ricky Rudd in that orange number 10. He's running in 7th. Then Steve Grisham, not currently on the lead lap. He's in 21st. There's Dale Earnhardt running in 8th spot in that black number 3. And the man we're riding with now, Bill Elliott, he is running in the 9th position in the McDonald's Ford. Of course, up front, Mark Martin still leads, and the margin between he and Kyle Petty is continuing to narrow just a bit. Folks from Napa bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring across the top of the screen.
Ricky Rudd in that number 10, 4 wins here. He's an equal opportunity winner at Dover. He's won twice with Bud Moore. He said that was expected of me because those cars were so fast that it was just assumed if you drove them you were going to win. He won once for Rick Hendrick. He did that one on some very special pit strategy. He took 2 tires. The guy he had to beat took 4 tires. That was a fellow named Bill Elliott, and he won the race that way. And if you were with us in June, you saw it was just an incredible collection of improbable circumstances. One after another, people crashed out of this race, and all of a sudden, there was Ricky Rudd, driving fast, driving smart, first guy under the checkered flag.
But he's run at this track more than any other in his career. His first Dover race was way back in '76 when his family owned the Chevrolet. There's our leader, Mark Martin. Now let's just pivot back a little bit. Yeah, the interval is really narrowed, buddy.
You won't hurt the crane on this when you start showing the 2nd place. You see right there, that's Kyle Petty coming down in the corner there. He's doing a great job running very, very low, a different groove from anyone else. He's got the left front right on the bottom of the racetrack. He's catching Mark Martin slow but sure.
And his only problems for Robert Presley. Problems for Robert Presley. He was on the lead lap in 11th. And Robert is off the pace. Too bad. They had a good run going for the Jasper Federal Mogul team. As another lap is put on Dave Marcus. I was about to say that Kyle Petty's only top 5 of this year was here in June when he finished 5th. So he's running a strong 2nd right now. We shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's the 2nd car you see just behind Mark Martin as they come down through there, the 44. He is really driving the car just as fast as it feels good to him. That's the important part here. He never overdrives. He's a very consistent driver on a mile racetrack.
There's another fellow who never overdrives either. Smart. You heard him describe the lap that put him on the pole. It was as if he knew exactly what he did and what that car did every inch all the way around the racetrack. A very, very smart race car driver. It's a good battle.
It is a good battle. Ernie Irvan in 4th, Bobby Labonte in 5th. We're riding with Bobby right now. That inside groove looks
I'd
like
rather watch him than ride with him, I can tell you that. I was watching Ernie Irvin just then. He went in right on the bottom of the racetrack, right up to the top part of the racetrack. You can see right there, as Darrell Waltrip said yesterday, he's looking for fresh snow to get him to stop sliding there, I'm telling you.
He slides up like that. Watch, there's 18 of Bobby Labonte. That's what he needs to close.
Yeah, he's having a problem right now. You can see in the corner there, he's not up to speed like he was.
even the car of Johnny Benson, who's 4 laps down. That yellow Pennzoil machine made the move around. Jeff Gordon has just gotten around Rusty Wallace coming off turn 4. They're back now in turns 1 and 2. So Jeff Gordon moves now into the 6th position.
Wallace is a lap down in 19th.
Bypass that race traffic. Ricky Rudd, he is chasing the 24 on the scoreboard. There's 24 Gordon, the lap car Wallace, then the 10, the Tide machine. Robert Presley's taking his car to the garage. Matt Yoakum, what's the problem?
I was thinking maybe something in the drivetrain. He said the car just locked up. The motor appeared to be fine, so he said there could be something in the drivetrain.
Unfortunate for Robert Presley, who's running on the lead lap in 11. If you're just joining us, Michael Waltrip due to an accident, Ricky Craven because of an accident, and now Robert Presley. The only 3 cars in the garage. They are still working on Ricky Craven's Budweiser Chevrolet. We've had just 1 caution. It came out at lap number 88 when Michael Waltrip went in the wall in turn number 2 and took a piece of debris on the track that Ricky Craven ran over that got him into trouble. Otherwise, we have been clean and green. Mark Martin led the first 4 laps. Jeff Gordon the next 11. And Mark Martin has now led from lap 16 through lap 128.
Yacht to do or real to do. You know, Jeff Gordon's almost half of that back.
What was the thing we were going to tie into NASCAR.com?
Do you remember?
Sam, do you remember?
Clear. Here we go. Good run, guys.
Clear all around.
Benson's fast. He's way down.
He's 4 laps down.
Yeah, and he was quick.
This would be a good time for the pits to do a little run around on what they're saying about the cars.
Yeah.
I saw that earlier.
Larry McReynolds.
Yeah. What's this? Yeah, it's neat. This is only a test.
I got some.
2 down. And more.
He'll be glad when this season ends.
What are you talking about?
Who's that?
Sterling.
Wow.
What a heck of a handbasket.
He really is a good one.
Nice cut. Ooh. See what Ernie did? He got away from everybody and just kind of, not really dying on the line.
Fans are always asking me how I got started in racing. You can find out just how tough it was for me by going online. Log on to www.country.com and I'll tell you all about it. I'm going to find out right now.
The computer guru, Larry McReynolds. Overhead, the Dover Downs International Speedway. Mark Martin putting a lap on his corporate teammate Ted Musgrave. This camera shot courtesy of Durashine Advanced Auto Polish. Just wipe it on and hose it off. Durashine now available at Pep Boys, Western Auto, Kmart, and Target Auto Stores. And you can also go online at the NASCAR online site, www.nascar.com. Updated scoring, stories, all sorts of information. You can even vote for the National Motorsport Press Association Most Popular Driver Award. Do it all online at NASCAR Online. Welcome back to Dover Downs. Ernie Irvan in the 28, Jeff Gordon at 24. They are 5th and 6th respectively right now. They are running a grand total of 9 seconds behind the race leader Mark Martin. Mark has a 2nd and a 10th on Kyle Petty. It is 3.5 back to Dale Jarrett, then Bobby Labonte, Ernie Irvan, Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt, Kenny Schrader, and Bill Elliott. That is your top 10. Let's go to pit road.
Dale Earnhardt has made it all the way up to 8. He said the car is leaning a little bit towards the tight side now. It started out neutral. It's working its way tight just like in happy hour. They're going to try to adjust a little bit on the next pit stop. Ernie Irvan, he's complaining his car is doing the same thing. It started out a little bit loose on this run. They had the caution, and now it's going tight from the center of the corner off.
And I think a tight race car, buddy, is probably the least type that Dale Earnhardt likes to drive. Nobody wants to, they want to all want to be perfect, but I think Dale can probably handle driving a loose car better than driving a tight race car.
Well, you know, it fits his driving style, but nobody likes to slide.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talk about pushing all the time, and people that don't watch us every week, and it's your first broadcast, let me explain what that is. That's when you turn the steering wheel into the corner, and it does not react. It goes up the racetrack, just like it was on grease almost. You can have the wheels back, but the front end wants to go straight. When it's loose, the back end wants to slide into the corner. It tries to go past the front wheel. That's loose and tight. And right now, you can see they're running a very high line. The main reason they can't turn it and hold it down on the low part of the racetrack, like Kyle Petty and some of the guys that are handling a little bit better at this part of the race.
Is one of those conditions any easier to handle than the other?
Well, in my opinion, I always like one a little bit loose. You can always back off and get the back. But now, if the front's taking off toward the wall, the only way to stop it from pushing is back off the gas to make a turn. I always like to get in the throttle, not have to back off.
I was just going to say, that's why you like them loose, because you didn't have to back out of the gas. This is a good battle for position here. 4th, 5th, and 6th. With the green number 18 of Bobby Labonte currently occupying 4th. Ernie Irvan behind him at the 28. In 5th, Gordon in 6th, 24. And this is going to get real intense. Pretty intense now. It's going to get more than so.
We're at lap number 144 of 400 here at Dover Downs today. Saw Jeff Gordon right there kind of peeking around to see what he can do. Remember how well he worked the outside. But that's the same groove that Ernie Irvan is in right now.
Eli, they're doing something that's kind of dangerous on this racetrack, too. They're running that high groove up there, and they're on racetrack that does not have as much rubber as down low, and you're wearing the tires much quicker up there where you don't have a good pattern.
And Ricky Rudd joins this mix. Oh, man, this is all for position.
He's in 7th, now in 6th, as Ricky in the 10 gets around Ernie Irvan. The 78 there, that's Gary Bradbury. He's a couple laps down, not in the mix right there, nor the yellow machine of Johnny Benson. He's also 4 laps down. Johnny's first ever NASCAR race win came here in a Busch Series event in September of '94. I remember that. He had just won the ASA championship, and he edged out Harry Gant by a car length or so, if memory serves, on that day.
If Harry Gant was running today, it'd be 2 inches off the wall there. He loved the high line around this racetrack.
And he'd have a lap on the field.
Yeah, he made it work. And, you know, he was extra strong anyhow. We always said if anything breaks out in the garage area, he's on our side.
Let's see if Jeff Gordon can make the inside work on Bobby Labonte. This is for 4th place. You're riding with Bobby Labonte now, going past Robbie Gordon there on the Coors Light colors.
One of Bobby Labonte's best racetracks. Recall he was in the lead here in the June race. He got hit from behind and taken around. This is the same car he led that event with. Obviously, significant repairs done to that race car since then. 33 years old. What a career Bobby Labonte has ahead of him.
No lead yet today for Pontiac. Pontiac's led in only 15 of the 25 races this year.
Pontiac's were so quick in the last practice. It's a bit of a surprise that they have not led the event so far.
But, you know, at number one, it's still early. And, of course, Kyle, as well as his Hot Wheels Pontiac is running, certainly could take the lead. But that's the man who's had it since number 16.
Ernie Irvan. Excuse me, folks. I was watching Ernie Irvan knock the screen just then. He really almost wrecked. You could see everybody behind him there stacking up. He comes so close to wrecking. I better watch the TV screen.
But the monster just about reached out and grabbed Ernie Irvan. Scary time right there. It allowed Dale Earnhardt, you see, to get by.
They were all in such a tight pack, it's not surprising something happened to someone.
Just now getting back up to full speed again.
He really had to slow down to gather that number 28 car up. It was just wiggling and wobbling down the backstretch.
Let me tell you, he was looking out the right door down the straightaway when he come off the corner. That's how far sideways he was.
I hate when that happens.
Don't you, though?
Yeah.
Well, usually when that happens at this racetrack, there are big problems and a record soon to follow.
Remember how well Jeff Bodine was running before? Well, he's about to go a lap down in 14th position. On a beautiful day in Delaware.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I just looked across. I looked at the screen.
25.
We didn't have a replay on that, Pam? On the 28? I'm sorry. I looked at the screen, looked up, and saw smoke flying off the right rear, and I thought he'd wrecked.
He did. He wrecked. He just didn't hit anything.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I looked up and smoke was boiling off the right rear.
22 in.
And here comes Bodine.
Yeah, he had just gone a lap down. We're at lap 154.
Okay, and we'll come back.
Ernie Irvan running in 8th spot right now. Here's what happened moments ago that brought the bellow from Mr. Baker.
This is when I was yelling. That's the better part of that slide. That last part, he pretty much had it back under control there, but he really did a nice job of saving that race car. Most drivers out there would have crashed.
Matt, remembering that people of all ages are listening on this Family Sunday, what did Ernie have to say on the radio?
Well, Eli, he told crew chief Margarino, I don't know what happened. It just got out from underneath me a little bit. I just don't know. Mark said, Ernie, don't worry about it. Just get back into your rhythm. Rhythm is very important here, buddy. How tough is it to get back into your rhythm when something like that happens here on the high banks at Dover?
You know, it's kind of like any type of sport that you play. You go right on. You really don't stop and think about it. What you do then is recapture and get everything back into focus and really start driving your pattern again. If you stop and worry about every time you slip on the racetrack, you'd be pretty much jumped.
Some pit stops taking place. Jeff Bodine's been in. Ward Burton's been in. Here's Ricky Craven. He's just made a lap now, and they're still working on the repairs after that accident at lap number 88. Ricky is now a total of 65 laps down. He'll lose another lap here, so he'll go 66 laps down or more. But at least the Budweiser Monte Carlo out there to get to whatever points they can in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Our broadcasting buddy Darrell Waltrip on the number 17 machine going yet another lap down. DW now being shown 5 down in the 24th position.
25 years in Winston Cup, and what a 25-year career it has been so far.
Oh, yeah.
Boy. A lot of laughs, a lot of cheers, and a lot of thrills from Darrell Waltrip over those times.
He really was I don't want to say the first media-savvy driver. That might be disrespectful to some, because Richard Petty always respected and understood what the media meant to the sport and dealt and gave good interviews. But Darrell really brought it into another dimension, didn't he?
He's always had that ability to laugh at himself along with himself and also make the best of situations. So, yeah, he's a tremendous talent on the racetrack, and he's a tremendous asset to a sponsor when he gets out of the race car. That's very important.
This is for the lead now. Kyle Petty has caught Mark Martin. Kyle Petty has gone by Mark Martin. Yes, he is cleared. He gets in line. The spotter says good job at lap number 161. So Kyle Petty takes over as the leader here at the Mbna 400. Kyle has led a grand total of 4 different events this year. He led Pocono for a grand total of 6 laps. He led 2 laps at Daytona in the Pepsi 400. He led 4 more laps in the July Pennsylvania 500 at Pocono. So a grand total of 12 laps led by Kyle this year, and now he's atop the board here at the Monster Mile, lap 161, when he takes the advantage and gives Pontiac a lead for the 16th different race of 1997.
Nicely read. Hey, that was good. See, I know something about him I didn't know before. And so does everyone else. That's the idea. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Okay. Sounds good.
May I have one of these, doctor?
Oh, please, that's why they're here.
Well, that's why they call you the doctor. You bring this stuff up.
That and water.
Look at this. He has not made a tire smoke yet. And won't.
Well, look,
he said he brave enough to drive it down there enough to hurt the tires.
his big problem here, though, is finishing. He's got 9 DNFs at this joint.
Yeah.
And that's what he's got to be most careful
But
of.
when he gets in front, he doesn't have many points.
That's right.
You know, he's been real good.
You know where everybody's missing the point. That's the first year race team out there.
Good point.
Nobody
Good
ever
point.
talks about that.
Well, I bet somebody can when we come back.
Yeah. Good point.
Yep.
Lead to you. Oh, that beautiful beat.
We'll have plenty of time to do this story.
Oh, yeah.
The race is over, he'll look the same again.
Not this time.
No, I don't
Buddy,
think so.
I'm just kidding.
It's cooler this time, too.
Except in here.
Yeah, it is
Or get
hot.
a little return air.
Miss Oliver, did you touch it?
No, Mr. McMullen did. We are back at Dover Downs International Speedway in Delaware. Beautiful day on the site of the old state police barracks. They tore them down, built the racetrack, and Kyle Petty loved what they've built. Of course, remember back here in '95, that was Kyle's last win when he led 271 laps in 1995, winning from 37th. Remember what that day was like, the heat, and he got the oxygen and so on. Of course, things have changed a bit, man Yoakum. Kyle has really gone on a physical fitness regime. He's got a trainer, and things have really come a long way, haven't they?
Eli, he vows to never see a shot like that again. The next time he goes to victory lane, he wants to celebrate standing up. Over the winter, he hired a football strength conditioning coach in North Carolina by the name of Mark Molden. He put Kyle on a rigorous workout program. His body fat dropped from 21% to 15%. He says, it worked out so well, I put the 43 pit crew on it, and my pit crew, our pit stops both picked up 1 full second. He said, the next time
could well be the day. That's the advantage he has over the number 6 of Mark Martin. And you know something? We shouldn't overlook one major factor here, Buddy Baker, should we?
You know, when we talk about Kyle Petty, we never bring it up that this is a first-year race team. What a great accomplishment. I mean, he's putting his team together. They have worked very, very hard. But to be able to lead a Winston Cup race in your first year, and, you know, if things go right, he's a contender to win. I said that earlier in the show. I think right now the car looks as good as anything out there. He's able to drive around the very bottom of the racetrack. It talks about physical fitness. He's got a guy chasing him right there every morning at 4:30, goes to the gym, works out. Mark Martin is in tremendous condition, so if he beats him, he'll beat him car-wise. He won't beat him condition-wise.
I had a chance to visit with Mark Martin for our TNN Motor Madness show, the Friday night program. We did an interview at his home in Daytona Beach, Florida. That's his primary residence. And he's got a big old gym right there in the house. I mean, he's got the workout area right there. And you're right, he doesn't miss a day.
Did you have to pump iron with him, Eli?
I did, as a matter of fact. I picked up the iron. I ironed a few shirts. And, that's not what you were talking about, huh?
No, not exactly. Yeah, he's really into it.
He is. We're at lap 175. Pit stops are taking place. Sterling Marlin was in a few moments ago. Rick Mast is on the pit lane now at lap 175. There you see the QVC team. Of course, QVC announcing, if you didn't hear, that they'll be sitting out 1998. They've been the primary sponsor on Jeff Bodine's number 7 Ford. And there's a good battle right there. Kenny Schrader in the 33, Ernie Irvin in the 28. That is 8th and 9th place, respectively.
I can tell you this right now, and you don't have to ask the people in the pit right now. Ernie Irvin wants a pit stop. The tires, for some reason, after his first pit stop, this car has not worked as well as it did prior. So right now, he's hanging on for dear life, waiting on that next pit stop.
While we're watching this battle, let's tell you that the 11th place car, Hut Strickland, has just gone a lap down. That was close.
That was it. That's exactly what he's been doing every lap. You can see the 28 come off turn 2 just then, got completely sideways. That's about the second or third catch he's made like that on this one stop.
Eventually, a guy's not going to catch it if he keeps going. He badly needs to have a pit stop. He needs a caution flag or something to get new tires on that car.
That's 4th and 5th right there, and you see Gordon going up, give 4th place to Ricky Rudd. So the Tide Machine, the winner here in June, now climbing even closer to the front. Let's check in with Steve Burns.
Well, guys, we were looking at Ken Schrader just a minute ago. It's hard to believe. We've talked about guys who need wins. Schrader last one here in June of 1991. Now, this June, he was 6th. Buddy Baker, I've got a question for you. We heard Schrader say, I need more brake on the next stop. What does he mean by that?
More brake? I really don't know. I can't imagine unless they have a way of adjusting the front brake, more brake bias in the front tires, or maybe giving it a little more rear brake. But usually the driver controls that, so I can't imagine what it is.
That's the voice of Buddy Baker, who won 2 Busch poles here at Dover Downs. He finished second here, Buddy did in 1974, among the 11 top 5 finishes that you had at this racetrack.
I'll tell you what. This racetrack, I think of all the racetracks that I've ever been to, takes as much mental preparation as anything you do. You cannot go out there and just run by heart. You have to use your head here, too, to finish.
Pit stops for Johnny Benson, for Ricky Craven, for Bobby Hamilton, for Terry Labonte. Dick Trickle is in. These stops are at lap 179, 180, and 181. If you're a Ricky Craven fan, after he made his stop, he goes right to the garage area. So the Budweiser machine still not working well after the accident at lap number 88. And Ricky Craven has gone back to the garage. That's the lead. There you see Terry Labonte. He's made his pit stop at lap 179. Now at lap 182, Joe Nemechek is in. Steve Grissom, Morgan Shepherd making his stop while we ride with the race leaders. Good battle here. Earnhardt wants 6th. Earnhardt takes 6th. They go around. Bobby Hamilton made his stop moments ago. We're at lap 183. Kenny Schrader in for service. Hut Strickland, who has just gone a lap down in 11th. He will make a pit stop.
interesting point here is that Earnhardt is passing cars on tires that are very well used up and very worn. We last got new tires on lap 99. We've got over 80 laps on them, and Earnhardt is running this well. That could bode well for this team at the end of the event.
Other folks may not realize through all that's gone on in the last 52 races without a win, but that car, and usually with Dale at the wheel, occasionally not, but that car has now been running at the end of 38 straight races.
Nobody else has done that.
That's right.
Nobody.
That's right. Back up front there, Kyle Petty, Mark Martin. The lead swapped around at lap 161. Kyle now today has led more laps than he has in all previous 3 races that he has led this year. He's led 24 laps thus far today. Doubled the amount he led in the 2 Pocono races and the Pepsi 400 at Daytona.
A lot of applause for Bobby Kennedy and the crew on that car to have done such a good job of putting it together. Rusty Wallace makes his pit stop.
Rusty's in at lap 186. Rusty is now in 17th, being shown 2 laps down. Matt Gokham's watching.
It's going to be a 4-tire stop for Rusty Wallace. They're going to adjust the car with air pressure. It was almost neutral. They wanted to get it neutral. They're taking 1 pound of air out of the right rear tire, and he is down and away.
Now at lap 187, Bill Elliott is making his pit stop. As you see the spread there, Kyle Petty, the leader, on the left, as we ride with Bill Elliott. Stop at that 94. And now the crew going to work. That's at lap 187. They're closing in on halfway in this 400-mile, 400-lap event. You heard the next time by for 4 tires. Clear. A stop-and-go penalty will be assessed to Jeremy Mayfield. He was too fast leaving the pit road. And here you can see Kyle Petty coming in. We heard say 4 tires.
Ernie Irvin in as well. And 88 Jarrett is in.
They shouted out a number. That was the number of the RPMs on the tachometer so as to not exceed the pit road speed limit.
Ernie Irvin slid out of his box. They had to push him back. It's a 4-tire stop. They're going to try to tighten the car with air pressure in the right front. They're going to go back to their original air pressure setting. A long stop for Ernie Irvin. This is really going to hurt him. He's down and away. As is Kyle Petty. 5 seconds. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, Matt, Dale Jarrett's in on the this end. They're putting a couple of rounds of fight in the car. Still a little bit loose to Dale's liking. Also 4 tires. Jeff Gordon is coming in. We see Kyle Petty go by. Dale Jarrett gets down and beats the 19.3. Great pit stop with a chassis adjustment. And here comes Gordon. We'll wait on him as he gets here. He was going to try to pit with Mark Martin, but Mark is getting better fuel mileage than anybody. We don't expect him for another 6 or 8 laps yet. Here's Gordon right now. They're also going to make a slight adjustment on his car. He's big. It's going to be a track bar adjustment. He has been complaining that his car is a little loose in and a little tight off. So there goes the adjustment on the track bar. Right sides are on. They're around to the left. And as I said, we don't expect Mark Martin for another 4 or 5 laps. So it comes down to fuel mileage. He's got him covered. 18.7 seconds. That's a great pit stop. Let's go back to Steve.
Glenn, Ricky Rudd was just in. They made a slight tire adjustment, air pressure on the last stop, and he really got hooked up to the racetrack. But they just changed 4 tires that got him back on his way. No additional changes.
So Mark Martin is the race leader, taking over the stop, or taking over the top spot, I should say, after the pit stop by Kyle Petty. Other stops being made now. Terry Labonte has been in here at lap number 192.
A lot of muscle here in that number 6 car. Driver car performing very, very well together today. Dominating performance.
I mentioned a couple of top 5s last times here. Matter of fact, he has 12 top 10s in his 22 starts here. No wins, but 12 top 10 finishes, 22 visits to the Monster Mile. Let's see if Mark comes in. No, he'll stay on the racetrack. So at least another lap. The crew will await. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Mbna 400 is brought to you by the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across the... Six is now your leader again. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Mbna 400 is brought to you by the more than 1,725 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by the Ford F-150, strength after strength after strength. Welcome back. There is the leader, Kyle Petty, as we are coming to halfway here at the Monster Mile. Pit stops taking place over the last few moments. Gives the lead back to Kyle. Rodney Wise from Magnolia, Delaware. The flagman gives them the crossed flags, and we are halfway home in the Mbna 400. Resetting what's taken place at lap 197. Mark Martin was in and Bobby Labonte was in. Dale Earnhardt pitted at lap number 198. So if you're keeping stats at home, Martin led from lap 190 through 197. Dale Earnhardt gets 5 bonus points for leading lap 198. Kyle Petty reassumes the lead at lap 199. We now have 9 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd is 4th, Jeff Gordon 5th, Earnhardt is 6th, Schrader is 7th, Bobby Labonte is 8th, Bill Elliott 9th. Those 9 machines are on the lead lap. Everybody else at least 1 lap down. So now everything is reset for you. Let's go down and check in with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Eli, we were just going to go check with Steve Neal. We know that they made an adjustment on Mark Martin's car. It was a little bit tight. As you said, he pitted on lap 197. He got 5 more laps on that tank of fuel than did either Dale Jarrett. He got about 10 more laps, or excuse me, 6 more laps than Kyle Petty. So Mark getting better fuel mileage than Gordon, Jarrett, Petty right now. However, a little bit of a slow stop brought him out behind Jarrett on the racetrack. Here's Matt.
Boy, you talk about a guy getting great fuel mileage today. How about Dale Earnhardt? 105 laps from the last time he last visited pit road. Larry McReynolds tells us, look, we've got to conserve those tires. We've got to make them last another 100 laps, so we only have to stop one more time if this thing stays long green like it is right now. Now let's go to State Burns.
Matt Ken Schrader has worked his way up to 7th. As we said, it's been June of 91 since he won, and that came here. Now, I asked Buddy Baker the question. We heard Ken Schrader say, I need more front brakes. Now, these guys are talking about the next time they come here. I'll guarantee you, Crew Chief Andy Petrie has put that down in his notebook when they come back here next year.
You saw a little streamer there. Looks like Schrader might have picked up a piece of debris on the right front of the automobile. There you see some of the pit stops and who did well. Ernie dropped 3 spots. Don Andretti losing a couple. So you're caught up. There's Doc Holliday. Actually, it's Ken Schrader, but the car's name is Doc Holliday. Kenny had a good day here Thursday. You know, he loves aviation, flies and all that. Went to the simulator over here at the Dover Air Force Base. Went into the C5 simulator on Thursday and had a great time.
His regular airplane's almost a C5. I'm going to tell you what, that's a beautiful airplane. He's got his own Lear now. So from Daytona to Charlotte, 55 minutes.
That'll work. Look at this battle here for 5th. Earnhardt got it. Give Gordon 6th now as Earnhardt grabs the position away from Jeff. Hey, could this be the day, guys?
Hey, he's looking good. I'll tell you what, he didn't waste any time with Jeff Gordon. You can see he's running a very high line in the middle part, but if it works for the car, that's all you want.
There's Kyle Petty now getting set to go around and put another lap on Rusty Wallace, and does. Rusty will be 3 laps down now.
And look at this, Schrader right in front of him. Schrader's best 1997 races have been here at the second Bristol, the concrete tracks. He's finished 6th on both of them. But look at this, Petty's going to put him away.
This is 9th place going a lap down, buddy.
Eli, the one thing you can't do, you can't block him because he's running on the racetrack nobody else is using. He's a full car length lower. Coming off the corners, you can see right there, much lower. He's up under Schrader as they head down lane 3. You can see right there, I mean, it does not hurt his car at all. He can go right on the bottom. When he gets back to the fuel area, he ought to just motor right on by.
You wonder what they've done on that car, the 33. You've got Terry Satchel as one of the engineers there. You realize that Kenny's best runs have been habitually of late on these concrete racetracks. He was 6th here in June. He was 6th at Bristol under the lights in August, a concrete racetrack. They've got something going for him, but they go a lap down. Jeff Gordon, he's running in 6th. You saw Earnhardt bypass him a few moments ago. Glenn, what are you hearing from that bunch?
I'm down at Jeff Gordon's pit, Eli, and look at this. This is the right front tire that came off of the car. Look at this band of wear there. That's down to the steel belt. He ran about 5 to 6 laps longer than they had originally planned, trying to stay up with Mark Martin. What are they doing about it? This right here. Instead of going with stickers, the next set of tires they put on will be scuffed. Tires that have been run a few laps have some heat built in them, so that cure in becomes just a little harder. Hopefully will wear just a little better.
They'll all find out together.
Well, there's two things that does. Once you heat cycle a tire, you put heat in it, it makes the compound harder, so it does not wear as quick. So that's what they're looking for.
Lap 212 of 400. Kyle Petty has that confident look in his eyes. We're coming back. He hasn't wavered an inch in the last hour. Kyle Petty, number 44, continues to run a very dependable line, and he does lead the Mbna 400 live here at Dover Downs International. We're riding with Kenny Wallace, who has had early problems. He's some 26 laps down, but he's giving us those pictures, running in 38th right now. Michael Waltrip, Robert Presley, Ricky Craven, the only 3 in the garage area. Pontiac with 48 laps led today. Pontiac still looking for a victory here in 1997. Of course, Chevrolet has victories from that guy, Jeff Gordon. And there you see the 15 wins among all of those Fords.
That's pretty awesome. That's
an amazing graphic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gordon all by himself with all of the Chevrolet wins.
Wow.
The last Pontiac NASCAR Winston Cup win was in Phoenix in '96 when Bobby Hamilton won.
You know, when you watch this car go around the racetrack, I'm looking at the body movement and all. You know, there has to be a little influence there from their father, Richard Petty. He didn't just let Kyle hang around the shop when he was little. When I drove for him, Kyle was in the shop working on the race cars. He has a lot of knowledge himself. And, you know, putting a team together, we keep hitting on that, but he put this team together. And everybody's been asking, is he going with his father at the end of the year because Bobby Hamilton's moving on and Richard hadn't named the driver? Absolutely not. He's proud of his own race team, and he's going to stay right there.
If you're a Robert Presley fan, he has just brought the number 77 back onto the racetrack. Drivetrain problems have been diagnosed. He is 81 laps down. So now only Michael Waltrip and Ricky Craven are out of the race.
It didn't pop, did it? I'm getting low on nose, so I'm gonna back off a little bit. Jesus. Pam?
Yeah.
Pam?
Okay.
Thank you.
You have no idea how
I want
I'm
to take
suffering
care of
right
some of the
now.
stuff too here. We need to get some of this stuff out of the way too. All right, what is the order?
Pam back. Meanwhile,
Do we really have...
do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
The 28 has passed the 6, but
Winnebago Industries, the official motor home of TNN. Stop by your local Winnebago or Itasca dealer now and see the new models available. For more information on the Winnebago Motorsports team, give them a call at 1-800-643-4892, extension 2. This broadcast is sponsored in part by Featherlight Trailers, the official trailers of NASCAR, CART, the IRL, and a major sponsor of the NHRA. Remember to call Featherlight for all of your trailer needs at 800-800-1230 or call them directly at 319-547-6000. Commercial transportation for this broadcast has been provided by Ryder, the official transportation company of Opryland. Dover Downs International Speedway, there is your race leader, Kyle Petty. Took over most recently at lap number 199 as he goes around Dave Marcus. Clear. There's Sterling Marlin. Let's take you further back so you know where everybody is. Sterling's running in 28th right now. He is 5 laps down. Made a stop early in the day at lap 79. There you see the number 94, Bill Elliott. He is running in 8th spot. He has just gone a lap down, Bill Elliott. You saw Dave Marcus there, the 71, also in that shot. Dave is 7 laps in arrears, running in 35th. Further back now, you see the combination of Mike Skinner there and the 31. He is running 3 laps down in 17th.
The 42, that's Joe Nemechek there with Rusty Wallace in the 2-car right on his back bumper as they head down the back straightaway.
Nemechek is 15th and Rusty Wallace is 18th. There's Dale Jarrett, Dick Berger. He's running 2nd.
He's had a strong run here today. Very strong run.
Steve Grissom next in line, running in 19th. He's 3 laps down. Jeremy Mayfield had that stop-and-go penalty for excessive speed on the pit lane at lap 190, and that cost him. He's back in 22nd, 4 down. There's Terry Labonte. He's 29th now, running 5 down. There's O'Herman. Kenny Wallace.
He's had all kinds of trouble today, but you see, that's one thing about the Wallace brothers. They do not give up. He's out there for his sponsors making laps right now. Has no chance of winning, but he's still out there plugging away.
He's 32 laps down, Kenny is, after handling problems earlier. Then you see the 6 and the 33. The 6, Mark Martin, he's running in 3rd. Kenny Schrader's a lap down in 9th in the number 33 machine. Right there in the 28. Ernie's been around the lead for a good bit of the day, but now he's a lap down in 10th spot. And right behind him, Ted Musgrave, still looking for an elusive first win. In 30th spot, Ted is 6 laps down. Rick Mast qualified well. He's now in 11th, a couple of laps back. There's the Remington team. Now you pan back to David Green. David's still looking for his first top 15 finish of the year. There you see Robbie Gordon.
First time ever at Dover today.
Yep, 36 spot for him right now. 8 laps down. Gary Bradbury is there, 37th spot. Gary's 11 laps down in the number 78 machine.
Good comeback run for them. They wadded one up in an early practice session here. That's their backup car.
He and Steve Park both catching the wall here on Friday. Here's Ricky Rudd. He's having a good day, buddy, running up there in 4th.
Ricky's always very good on a slick racetrack, and the tires seem to be giving up late in the runs, and Ricky Rudd has always had the ability to keep this 10 car right up front. What a good driver when the track gets slick.
Saw Dale Earnhardt right there behind him, the black number 3. That's for position. Dale and Rudd battling. Dale Earnhardt's in 5th spot on the lead lap. Right behind him there, Bobby Hamilton, who's not had a particularly strong day. 4 laps down in the 20th spot now.
Bobby finished 3rd last week, but has really not gotten a handle on it all day. This is Dick Trickle here in the number 90. You can see the Halig Myers car as he goes down in turn 1.
He's in 21st spot after starting 4th, running 3 laps down is Dick Trickle.
They'd hoped for a much better day. They finished third in Bristol with that car. I thought they were going to really do some business today, but they haven't. Old EW, 17.
23rd spot now for Darrell Waltrip. And there's Jeff Gordon bypassing him. Jeff is running in 6th position at this stage of the day.
The youngster and the veteran.
He's on the lead lap, Glenn.
Yes, he is, Eli. I've been doing some stopwatch timing down here, looking at the cars on the racetrack, getting an update from the crew chiefs on what Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett's cars feel like. Gordon is in 6th place. He's only 6 seconds from being lapped by leader Kyle Petty. So Kyle's ever steady laps are closing in on Gordon. Gordon's car is a little bit loose right now. Mark Martin is also reporting loose. It was tight. They loosened it up. Now they got it too loose. And Dale Jarrett reports that his car is tight in the center off. So everybody having problems right now except that 44. He just keeps rolling on.
He's rolling on to such a degree that he is now about to put 7th place Bobby Labonte a lap down. And he'll do that right there in turn 4 if he can make the pass.
Outside. Still outside. Clear.
We're at lap 241 here in Dover. We'll continue our look at the entire field when we continue. But there you see just the top 6 are on the lead lap. Welcome back, everybody. The Mbna 400 is live from Dover Downs International Speedway in Dover, Delaware. Eli Gold, Buddy Baker, Dick Bergman, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Matt Yoakum all on hand here at the Monster Mile.
Clear.
MCI presenting NASCAR timing and scoring across the top of the screen. We are at lap 248 right now.
You know, it'd have to be a little disconcerting to look in the mirror and you see Kyle Petty behind you on the straightaway and you go in the corner and he's nowhere in the mirror. He's down lower. He's using the racetrack nobody else is running on.
And there you saw Sterling make his stop. Steve, he's always been the first guy in, opening up the next cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, exactly, Eli. In fact, looking at my notes, he pitted on lap 170 for 4 tires, doing the same here on lap 248.
So Sterling, Marlin, and Early. Let's continue our look at the entire field. We were up to Jeff Bodine when we broke away there. And there you see Jeff. He is running a couple of laps down in 12th spot with QVC on the car, though as we told you, they'll not be on that car in 1998, the announcement coming the other day. Ward Burton next in line right there. Ward's in 23rd right now, 5 laps back.
Car sponsor is sponsoring this event. They have 1,000 people here in the grandstands cheering Ward Burton on. And a bunch of kids from Soapbox Derby land up in Maine have been brought down by the sponsor to enjoy big league stock car racing.
That used to stand for Maryland Bank North America, Mbna, in the old days. Now it doesn't mean anything to name. It's just technically, that is now the name unto itself. But that's what those letters used to stand for. We talked about Darrell earlier, so let's bypass him to Morgan Shepherd there in 25th. Morgan's now 5 laps down, back on board with Richard Jackson.
And it was so much fun for him to go back in the garage area. Men were shaking his hand. Women were walking up to him and hugging him. Welcome back to Winston Cup Racing. This guy has had a smile on that has gone from ear to ear from the moment he has entered the garage.
So there you have Morgan and Darrell Waltrip running in tandem. Darrell, we mentioned earlier, is in 25th spot. There's Chad Little having just made his pit stop. He pitted at lap number 248. Chad is running in 36th right now, some 8 laps down. But again, he's just made a pit stop.
He's also a broadcaster on TNN every once in a while. Yesterday in the Grand National Race, did a nice job on pit road for us.
Always does. Great guy, very articulate.
Very much so, and now we cycle back around to Kyle Petty right there. A couple of things you want to mention while we have a chance. I want to say hello to the men and women who are stationed at the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. Dedicated armed forces folks, and they are big NASCAR fans. They get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, we are told, to watch the races, and nothing else is allowed on television when the NASCAR events are on. And right now, somewhere between 100 and 120 degrees temperature-wise. No shade. They live in tents. No sand, just a bunch of red dirt for those folks. And we want to say hello to all of those who have gotten up to join us early in the morning at the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. Kyle Petty still leads. Second place right there, about to change hands. Mark Martin draws even with Dale Jarrett. Got him going into the corner. So give Mark Martin second spot now. Jarrett back to third. Lap 256. Rick Mast making his pit stop. Johnny Benson is for his. Also want to say congratulations to Alicia Kivligan. She is the general manager of World Sports Enterprises, the company that produces the telecast here on TNN and for many other networks. She and her husband Dave, parents now. Erin Michelle was born the other day. 6 pounds, 15 ounces.
Wow, pretty good sized kid there.
Mother, daughter doing just fine. Dave's always been a little bit off, so he assumed no. Congratulations, guys. That's wonderful news. There you see Jeff Burton. He's running well, and that is certainly good news. Of course, as you may or may not know, Jeff has been dealing with a rare inner ear condition. Matter of fact, we asked him just the other day to explain exactly what it is that's been keeping him at far less than 100% of efficiency over the last few weeks of racing.
There's a virus that attacks the nerve system. The nerve system of mine that it chose to attack was the system that takes a message from the inner ear to the brain and tells what's going on. Mine's messed up, and once it dies, once the virus dies, now you've got to rebuild that nerve to do the right thing. There's viruses like that cause paralysis. Obviously, mine's not that severe. And people have to learn how to walk again, have to learn how to move their fingers, and that's what I'm doing right now with my nerve, is it's learning how to operate again.
Very, very strange, scary sounding. Matt, apparently he's doing fine, though. He's still in the race car today at a very difficult, physically demanding racetrack. Has Jeff said anything on the radio at all?
Eli, like any athlete, the adrenaline has kicked in. He soldiered from 39th up to 16th and 3 laps down. This team desperately needs a top 10 finish. He is currently only 144 points behind Dale Jarrett, who currently sits in 4th place in the standings. Right now, his problem, this set of tires is not matched up as well as the last set. It's not the same tire code, and what that means, when a tire is molded, it has a stamp telling you what day it was made. Well, this is not the same tire molded set that he had on the car the last run, so we're just going to have to hold on. The car's a little too tight. We're just going to wait until the next round of push stop.
He is right now in 14th, running 4 laps down. As we go to break, Kyle Petty the leader. Let's also say congratulations to one of our crew members, Ray Wetzel. He and his wife, Chris, celebrating their first anniversary, and they said it would never last. All right. Yeah, it is. You got a garbage there, Bill? Thanks. All right, so it'll be bite number 1, huh? Bite 1. I knew somebody would jump in on that. I was just wondering which of the sickos it was going to be. Yes, congratulations. Now here's what you've won.
Pam. Go, Pam. Oh, really? She's not there, huh? Yeah.
Okay, who's next for Kyle?
You tell her that when we go away to break, every once in a while, we want to talk to the guys.
He's up to Gordon, right?
Well, yeah. Not right now, but you know, later on.
There, he's up to Gordon. Closing in on Jeff.
We have to do something. Yes, sir. Dr. Dick's down to 386 pages left now. We're running out of stuff.
Dr. Dick.
You'd be surprised how much stuff is in that book.
Feeling better?
I know. More than 186 pages, I bet.
Make it lighter.
make it brighter.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the MBNA 400 is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by the Exide NASCAR Select, so reliable it's the official battery of NASCAR. Welcome back to the Kyle Petty benefit today. We told you that Kyle had with a grand total of 12 laps coming into today's race. He's already led 84 today. Terry Labonte just scrubbed the wall. See the crease there on the right side of that number 5 Kellogg's machine? No caution flag. We are staying green. We've had only one caution today at lap 88 where Michael Waltrip at the turn 2 wall and Ricky Craven ran over some of the debris. And those are the only 2 fellas out of the event officially right now. Now Jeff Green is officially done for the day. So 3 retirees, but poor old Terry Labonte, he didn't need that, did he?
You can see the right rear there. It got into the wall hard enough to make the sidewall on the tire white. So he really smacked it pretty good there with the back part of the car.
The stop here at lap 270, Matt.
This is going to be a 4-tire pit stop for Texas Terry Labonte. Right side's going on. It's kind of a slow start. You can see them banging out. The right front fender is knocked in. This is going to be a slow stop for these guys, losing valuable time on pit road. Another team that desperately needs a good run today to try to get some points to stay good on the top 5 in the points streak.
Here's what happened. He just got up and into the wall.
That was a good shot of the debris that gets up against the wall. Right down as you leave the groove a little bit, not too bad. Closer to the wall you get, the more tire buildup, marbles as they call it. And that's the little squiggles of rubber that build up on the outside of the racetrack. Once you get in it, it's just like hitting sand. You go right out into the wall.
Napa Auto Parts presenting NASCAR timing and scoring for you across the top of the screen. Terry Labonte in his 562nd consecutive start, winless in 37 previous visits here at the Monster Mile. There's Kyle. We didn't talk that much about Brett Bodine, and we didn't mention it earlier, but it's certainly worthy of a repeat. They had a sponsor, but just yesterday, guys, you saw him pulling the decals off the race car.
Yeah, and you can see right there, I mean, absolutely not the first decal on there. I'm sure that he would love to have a decal on there, but apparently he and the sponsor must have had a disagreement or something, because in the middle of the year, you don't pull your decals off unless something's wrong.
So that is now a team looking for a sponsor. And as a matter of fact, we talked to Brett yesterday, right after happy hour, and asked him to explain why the sponsor is gone.
Well, basically, we just had to make a decision based on a financial situation, and we're trying to get the message out that we're looking for long-term sponsorship for the 98 season and beyond, and actually for the rest of this year also.
Hate to see it. Nicest guy going and just having to scuffle along financially. Steve Burns is down there, and he's been following that Brett Bodine story.
Eli, he took on a partner, Andy Evans. Not only did they take the decals off the car, the guys on pit road, their team uniforms are the ones worn by Andy Evans' IRL team, Team Scandia. They have USAC patches, IRL. These uniforms actually are made in there. You can see them. They're made in Italy, and you see Team Scandia on the back. So not only did they take the decals off, but they've also changed the uniforms here on pit road.
So that's the update from Brett Bodine's team. Now pit stops for both that man, Dale Jarrett, and to Jeff Gordon's pit. Glenn?
Well, Gordon comes in. Jarrett's coming in right behind him. Ray Evernham and Todd Perry were talking about it. Rusty Wallace, Robbie Gordon go by. 4-tire change. They're trying to tighten Jeff's car up a little bit. They're also going to loosen Jarrett's car. Gordon is down and away. He is now going to lap down. He was only 4 seconds from being lapped on the racetrack. They've got the right sides on Jarrett. They're down to the left side now. As I said, they will make some air pressure adjustment to try to loosen his car a little bit up in the center of the corner. A little bit of trouble in the left rear here. Down and away. That wasn't one of their best stops.
Ernie Irvin has been in. Jimmy Spencer has made a stop. Kenny Wallace, Mike Skinner pitting. All of this under green at lap 276. If you're just joining us, We have had only one brief caution at lap number 88. Otherwise, clean and green as Kyle in the 44, Kyle Petty, continues to lead. Other stops now at lap 279, including John Andretti. He is in.
I'm watching that car go around the racetrack. Every time they show the car, I think he's coming into pits. He's running slow on the racetrack. But boy, is it getting the job done. Look how much space he puts on the car. He goes by him and he puts 5 car lengths on him in one corner.
By the way, did you see, that story that Steve just did about the Brett Bodine bunch wearing the Andy Evans uniforms, Team Scandi and all? Interesting. You remember when the Indy cars ran here back in 1969? Remember that, Dick?
Yeah, they said they'd never come back. No matter what, they'd never come back.
Interesting story in the local paper. Dave Bonner wrote a piece in the Delaware State News the other day saying that Leo Mel, the executive director of the Indy Racing League, and the series driver Scott Goodyear were here at Dover a couple of weeks ago, and according to the article, looking at this racetrack as a possible site for an Indy Racing League event.
And they could do it now as well. It's been a long, long time, over 25 years since Indy cars have run here. The cars have changed. The racetrack has changed. It's an interesting series. I bet they draw a good crowd here.
That was not a definitive deal, but they were here, according to Dave Bonner, just checking things out. All right, let's see what Kyle's punch can do. This pit stop at lap 282. He is in. So's Ward Burton. Mark Martin takes the lead. Let's see how the stop goes. The pit road.
Kyle Petty says this car is running well. Don't make any chassis adjustments. It's going to be a 4-tire stop. They just want to hurry up and get him out. Good stop for these guys.
You also saw the swap of position on the racetrack there as Earnhardt got around Ricky Rudd. Earnhardt is now third. Mark Martin is the leader during green flag pit stops. Here's Ricky.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't have a chance to get that in. I'll get it in later. 17.6. Yeah, they're pretty new. They've never been in the lead like this before. That crew. There's something about being in the lead, though, that pulls every trigger.
Well, no, it's just...
No, you're just not having a good
caution. We're having no cautions. And that's the big story, Pam. I mean, we've had one little teeny caution, and that's just, that's nobody's with anybody.
Pam, you're just not being all you can be. I know. Well, we're just lucky. We're very lucky we have Eli up there. He can at least keep something going.
Oh, yeah, we can always got stuff to talk about. But that's what happened when you have no caution.
If Kyle had stayed home, this would have been a dominant car.
If he'd stayed home, Earnhardt would be in the lead.
Had wings, they'd fly.
Yeah, how about Earnhardt, though?
Yeah, hey, this could be the day. He's now in second when...
Yeah, a caution right now would really throw things into a...
Yes, they would.
You got a feel for Brett, you know?
Yep.
It's too bad. Mark Martin is the race leader, having taken over the top spot upon the pit stop of Kyle Petty at lap 283. Of course, Mark has led a number of times already today. There you see Ricky Rudd in the 10, around David Green. Haviland points as they run right now, brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car, and that's how everything is running at this very moment. Ricky Rudd was in for his stop, Steve, at lap 283, and that will place him now in 6th position.
Yeah, Eli, I talked to Danny Marsburn, one of the tire changers. You know, they're hooked up pretty good. Matt Yoakum was talking about how well Kyle Petty was running. I don't know if Ricky's got anything for for Kyle, but they, again, are not making any adjustments, just bolting on 4 Goodyears and getting them out. They had an excellent pit stop.
I don't think Craig Breedlove and Art Arfon have anything for Kyle Petty right now. And those are the guys going for the world land speed record that held it for many, many years. Darrell Waltrip making his pit stop. You know, Kyle is probably known, as far as straightaway speed, probably not any faster than many other guys. But boy, the handling today is just unbelievable.
Well, it is, and there's just been a rule change on the Pontiacs to give them a little more downforce. They have a little more rear quarter, a little more front valence, and he's made the best of it. He's found out how to balance this car, and it's paying off right now.
And, of course, straightaway speed, I guess, is quicker because he's getting off the corners so much better, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's also got a unique strategy here, a unique style. A lot of guys will charge the corners here, and Kyle Petty goes in relatively easily, and as a result, he can stay down a little bit lower. Some of those guys that charge the corners, by the time they get to coming out of the corner, they got to get back out of the gas again. But Kyle doesn't have to do that. He gets in so nice and smooth, picks up the gas nice and smooth, and powers out. It's a nice line that he's running here today.
Ernie Irvin, he is running in 9th. However, he is a lap behind the fellas he's running with right there.
Well, without even looking at his car, it's not happening. Ernie Irvin's really having a time in the center part of the corner. There's quite a few of the front runners really eating him up in turns 3 and 4 because he goes almost up into the very gray part of the racetrack. You can see him right there. He's in a lot of trouble.
We told you when Kyle pitted, Mark Martin took the lead. Dale Earnhardt also moving up in that exchange as he now is running in the 2nd spot. There he is with Dick Trickle, 4th place starter right behind him. Trickle is now in 20th. Earnhardt running in 2nd. Terry Labonte back on the racetrack there, the number 5, after many laps of repairs. He is 13 laps down, and 35th Terry is, after tagging the wall earlier, but not bringing out a caution.
Yeah, you wonder about Earnhardt in his 1997 season. Incredibly, he has just 3 top 5s in 97 to this point. Now, if you looked at last year, he had 11 top 5s to this point. Take a look at the races led. He's led 5 to this point this year. Last year, 14. So it's been a tough 1997 season for Earnhardt, but he is running well now.
Let's see how far ahead Mark Martin is. It is actually 10 seconds. It's going to...
Well, he's in pit.
He just came down pit road. We were going to show you what the 10-second looked like, but here comes Mark Martin. That is going to give the lead again to Earnhardt at lap number 296. Dale led 296. Earnhardt also led earlier at lap 198. Joe, about 100 miles ago. Glenn?
Okay, guys, Mark Martin brings it in, and they ran to lap 296. Now, here's the strategy. Steve Neal just told me they will not have to make another stop. Only this car and Dale Earnhardt and possibly Bobby Labonte can go the rest of the way. Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, all the other cars are going to have to stop. I got him in 19.4 seconds. If this thing goes green, that will be his last stop, and I think ditto for Dale Earnhardt.
There is Dale Earnhardt in the race lead right now. Comes to turn number 4. Will not pit. Hut Strickland, though, will go around him. Hut has far fresher tires. Hut was in at lap 265, so don't let all of that deceive you.
Eli, as we watch this, one thing that could happen right now, if the caution come out, Earnhardt's still on the racetrack, he'd have everybody a lap down until he stops and makes this complete cycle of pit stop as he comes in right now.
Here he comes. So the fuel cell was getting dry, and the Goodwrench Service Plus Chevrolet, along with Bobby Labonte, will both make their stops lap 300. Matt?
Dale Earnhardt brings the car to a stop. Jimmy Ellis and Mark Armstrong going to work. It's going to be a 4-tire pit stop. The car is just a tad loose. They're going to tighten him up with air pressure. He only has to go the next 101 laps, and he'll go to victory lane. He's the only other car besides Mark Martin at this point that we feel can go the rest of the distance without stopping.
Now to Steve Burns.
And Bobby Labonte just dropped off the jack. Peter Dillon, the gas man, trying to get every drop of gas in there. 20.4 seconds for Bobby Labonte.
Kyle Petty is the race leader. He reassumes the top spot at lap number 300. And remember, only 100 miles remain.
He ought to get better gas mileage. He's not going as far as him. I can add to that.
3.9 seconds. And
I can add to that.
Earnhardt's 22 seconds back.
You guys must realize one thing.
That's fine.
One thing.
It's almost a whole lap. The lap is 23 seconds.
You got it.
All right, that's fine. I got no problem.
We got a point. Quiet. Here we go.
Brought to you by Gladiator and Universal Luxury Vans, the official vans of tracks, teams, and drivers throughout the NASCAR world. Call 1-800-445-2825 for a dealer near you.
High above Dover Downs, a beautiful day here on the Delmarva Peninsula, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. The camera shot you're seeing, courtesy of Durashine, advanced auto polish. Just wipe it on, hose it off. Durashine, now available at Pep Boys, Weston Auto, Kmart, and Target Auto Stores. There's Dale Earnhardt moving to the inside of Jeff Gordon. Crowd just heating that up for 5th spot right there. That pass being made in the corner. Earnhardt was about to go a lap down to Kyle Petty a bit ago, and all of a sudden has just turned up the wick and has pulled away.
Yeah, he has. He's managed to move some good distance between himself and Kyle Petty. Now has gotten around Gordon and looking at Ernie Irvan right ahead of him. Earnhardt running very well here in the closing laps of this event.
We're at lap 313 of 400.
You know what I'm thinking, though? He is running so very hard right now, trying to stay in the lead lap and not let Kyle Petty close in on him. You can see him putting away the 28 there, Ernie Irvan down the back straightaway. He's running so hard right now. How much tire is he going to have left near the end of this 100-lap run?
Good point, buddy.
Only 6 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Petty, Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, Earnhardt, Gordon. That's it. Those 6 on the lead lap.
And, you know, the real story here is that we've only had one caution flag. This is turning into a most unusual event, even for a racetrack where unusual events are kind of standard operating procedure. I mean, this is the home of the bizarre. Strange, unusual, unpredictable things happen here at Dover, and we are seeing another race that's like that. Just one caution flag so far.
Reminds me of New Hampshire. We went about 3/4 the way through the race last week. Not one problem. All of a sudden, we had a caution, and it was just chaos from there to the second flag.
If you're curious, we had a caution-free race here back in 1971. The old Mason-Dixon 500, as they used to call it. It was won by Bobby Allison, and that race was caution-free. So, although this is unusual, it is not precedent-setting. By the way, speaking of Bobby Allison, you see that great note? He's going to be inducted into the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame. Ceremonies to be held on January the 31st. The inaugural inductee was Richard Petty, and now Bobby, who's third on the all-time win list, has 84 victories. He's going in. And, buddy, I see you are being given yet another honor, the Talladega Walk of Fame. You're going to be enshrined there in the month of October.
Well, thank you very much for that, Eli. I'm very, very happy for it. But let me tell you something. Bobby Allison, let's go back to that. He ought to be in the personal Hall of Fame if anybody has ever sat down in a racing seat. He is a person that I want to see back in the sport, very active again, because we all love him around here, and not seeing him in the garage area is just not the same.
You see where he was hospitalized the other day? He was bitten on his legs by a Rottweiler. I'm serious.
A what?
A pit bull Rottweiler. They're probably the same. I'm sure the folks who are far more knowledgeable than I, but he was bitten by a Rottweiler dog. I want to say it happened in Baltimore or somewhere.
Yeah, you can't imagine what could possibly happen to that poor guy next.
Unbelievable.
I know it.
But Bobby B just fine, but congratulations on that induction to the Hall of Fame. Now let's set it again here. 81 laps to go. Glenn, let's reestablish what we're looking at as far as fuel situation, particularly among the Kyle Petty's, Mark Martins, Dale Jarrett's, and so on.
Eli, Mark Martin is the key guy. As I told you, Steve this thing goes green. So he will be able to go the rest of the distance. I'm watching him on the racetrack. He's slowed down a little bit, trying to conserve fuel. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon, who right now is only a second and a half from being lapped by leader Kyle Petty, will have to stop again with about 20 to go, as will Dale Jarrett. So those two cars will have to make one more stop for a splash and go. Here's Steve Burns.
Glenn, following up what you said, we heard Jim Long, Ricky Rudd's crew chief, said, man, we better pray for a caution because we cannot make it. I also talked to Mark Conquest, one of the engine builders on the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. They are in fine shape. They can make it the rest of the way. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
If we go green for the rest of the race, this race could fall into the hands of Dale Earnhardt. He went 105 laps on one pit stop round. They know they can go the rest of the way without stopping. Contrasting to Kyle Petty, he will come up 20 laps short. He will stop at about lap 380 for a quick gas and go. So it's good news for Earnhardt, bad news for Petty. But the bad news for Earnhardt, Mark Martin can also go the distance as well.
Again, the difference there, Kyle pitted at lap 282. Earnhardt pitted at lap 300. Mark Martin at lap 296. So there's a vast difference among those machines right now, as Kyle Petty does lead, but he still has to make a pit stop. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Mbna 400 is brought to you by Peerless Faucets, the do-it-for-yourself faucet. And by Rogaine, the only product medically proven to regrow hair for men and women. There's Kyle Petty. And I know that Kyle Petty likes to play video games, and if you're a racer like he is, you're going to enjoy checking out TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4. It's for the Sony PlayStation and the Sega Saturn system, and it's in stores now. They got all sorts of fender crunching, wheels busting, doors flying off. The game is really very realistic. If I want to check it out, Hardcore 4x4. You can also get information on TNN's website at www.country.com. Well, Ernie almost had a little close encounter of the wall kind there.
He's trying to run the same groove as the 44 and cannot hold it down. He got very sideways, but you see he is changing his line a little bit. That's what you do when a lead car comes by. The first thing you try to do is match that lap if you possibly can. You can see right there, trying to hold it down. That's a totally different groove than he was running a while ago. He was almost going out of the racetrack. He was going to New York and making a left back down the back straightaway a while ago, but now he seems to have the car a little bit lower on the racetrack, but he can't hold it down there. You see it scoot right back up.
You saw the list of attrition. You can add Robert Presley to that list, the number 77 machine, also in the garage. So Michael Waltrip, Ricky Craven, Jeff Green, and Robert Presley. Let's set the interval for you here and show you what's cooking. There's Kyle Petty. He is the race leader. Kyle has got 15 seconds on second place, Mark Martin. We'll get him at the line, starting the clock right there. It'll be a while. Be patient. Almost there.
Whoa,
there's.
Yeah, he just went by.
Yeah, I thought it was 15 seconds. Now, that was last time I checked. 25 back to Jeff Gordon. So it's 15 seconds to Mark Martin. And there's Kyle about to lap 6th place now.
Incredible. Usually when the track gets slick, Jeff Gordon motors by everybody. But Kyle Petty is making this look very easy today. Look at this car right on the bottom. Jeff Gordon's trying his heart out, but he cannot fend him off.
Now watch the reaction from the crowd and listen in. 10 wins this year for Jeff Gordon.
Now you clear.
Listening to Kyle's radio.
What Jeff will do is get a good run down the back straightaway because of the high line. You see him pull almost far left back. And here comes Kyle back on the inside. Jeff will sweep up right there. He'll close right back in on him.
And to put him a lap down.
Outside.
Gordon's fighting back very, very hard. Does not want to lose this lap.
Well, it's just a matter of time. There's a song about just a matter of time. What Kyle has to do right now is not heat his tires. trying to run in and run as hard as Jeff's using that higher line. Right here is where he makes his time.
Up goes Gordon. Ray Mbna, the crew chief, looks on. Got in the back of him. Got in the back of him.
Keep digging, keep digging.
Look at the reaction of the fans.
Not too good.
The crowd here booed Gordon roundly when he came around for driver introductions. They did not do that
just do what you got to
with
do.
Kyle Petty.
Let's just kind of listen in here for a minute and see what Kyle and them are talking about.
Take it easy. Still got a big lead. 10-4, don't worry.
You heard Kyle say 10-4, don't worry. Still has 15 seconds on Mark Martin. If you're just joining us, Kyle Petty, the 44, is the leader. He's trying to put 6th place Jeff Gordon a lap down. That's what you're watching right now.
Gordon with that high line. Upstairs, same thing he did here in June. Petty not able to get him.
Well, I think what Kyle's done right now, he just checked up. He's looking at where he's weak and where he's strong. He'll move back in on him.
Here's what happened a moment or so ago.
Ooh, I'm telling you.
Of course, Jeff had more momentum coming off the corner there.
Exactly what happened. Kyle slid up in front of him, what they call sliding in front of somebody, and he actually had a much faster car. Now, when you use a lap car as a pick here.
Yep, Gordon's caught behind Dave Marcus.
Still outside.
Well, Dave gets out of the way, but it's too late. Gordon a lap down. That man approves.
That's racing at its best right there.
His driver, Ernie Irvin, running in 9th right now. So only 5 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Petty, the 44. Number 6, Mark Martin. Number 88, Dale Jarrett. The 10 of Ricky Rudd, who won here in June. And number 3, Dale Earnhardt.
You can see now that he cleared Gordon, he's got some 6-7 car lengths on him. It don't look like it from that shot. That's a pretty good little lead he has on him going down into turn 1.
Now, ahead of Kyle Petty, you see him there on the left of your screen. Only about 3 seconds ahead is Dale Earnhardt. There you see Earnhardt right there as he works into turn number 3. He is only about 3 seconds back of that man right there. So right now, Kyle Petty has his sights on trying to put Dale Earnhardt a lap down. We are at lap 345. 55 laps to settle it.
Thank you, Eli. I wanted to talk him through the Brooklyn thing. Using him as a pick.
This race needs a caution.
Well, that's going to remove our who can make it
fuel
to the
deal.
finish. See, right now, Kyle Petty cannot make it.
Six can. Yep. Right now it's 6 and 3.
18.
But he's a lap down. He's 2 laps down. Yeah. 50 laps, 50 miles to go. Kyle Petty putting another lap on Bill Elliott. Right now only 5 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Petty. Mark Martin, who does not have to stop for fuel, but Kyle must. Dale Jarrett has to stop for fuel. He's in 3rd. Ricky Rudd, he's in 4th. He has to stop for fuel. Dale Earnhardt running in 5th. He can go the distance. As for Jeff Burton, bothered by the inner ear problem, there he is running 13th. He is 3 laps down. Here's his crew chief, Buddy Parrott, with a special look at his race team. This all brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach as Buddy Parrott talks about the Exide racing team.
We started this team, it's a 1.5 years old. Bobby Hudson, my shop foreman, made a big commitment, moved his family from a home place down in Gibson, North Carolina, and moved up to Lake Norman area, 5 minutes from the shop, matter of fact, and he was traveling an 1.5 hours. But that's the kind of commitment that these guys are making. and it's paying off. There's been a lot of race teams that we call it the swing and door kind of a situation, but we've been real fortunate, and I think that's why we've been successful. All the guys work well together. The shop guys, I just hired 2 fabricators in the shop. They're getting ready to build the new Tauruses for next year. It's going to take a lot of teamwork.
And that is the AT&T Teamwork feature, brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach. Ernie Irvan on the pit lane for service. So too Jeff Bodine, Matt Yoakum.
Ernie Irvan couldn't hold on any longer. He finally had to pit for 4 tires. The car was all that he could handle. It was a little bit loose. Mark Mbna said, try to stay in your line as low as you can. But he said it just was almost getting out from underneath me a couple times. So he finally got her in, as did Jeff Bodine.
Well, those stops at lap 353.
Bill Elliott also in, and they all took 4 tires and fuel with just a little bit of race left to go.
Again, if you're just joining us, 1 single caution flag. That has been it. And that accounts for the fact that we have just 5 cars on the lead lap. That and the dominance of that car right there, Kyle Petty. You see him closing in on Earnhardt right there. Dale is now in 5th position and is almost a lap down.
Well, Earnhardt had to go as hard as he possibly could, hoping for a concentrated pull. Right back on the backside of the 44. You can see he used his tires up. The consistent laps that Kyle Petty's been running are paying off right now. He's closing in on Earnhardt. And when he gets there, there's nothing that Earnhardt can do about it.
But remember, Kyle is going to have to make a pit stop while Earnhardt does not have to. So Dale will get back on the lead lap. And if everybody is telling us the truth, right now it looks like this race would end with Mark Martin in front of Dale Earnhardt, because that's how they're running on the track, and those are the only 2 who would not have to make a stop. Bobby Labonte is 3 laps down and is running in, at this point, 7th spot. He's the only other team that claims it can go the distance. See Ernie. Now remember, he's made a pit stop. That's why he was able to blow right around Kyle.
New tires are like Superman medicine. I'm telling you, you can see he can run anywhere he wants to on the racetrack right now with new tires.
Quickly, Matt Yoakum on pit road.
The problem with Dale Earnhardt, this set of tires is not matched up as well as the last set. They tried to tighten him up a little bit, and they've gone a little too far. He's just trying to hang on.
Now let's see what Kyle can do. This is to put 5th place a lap down.
You know, you were talking about straightaway speed. You can see Kyle Petty does not have an advantage on anyone on straightaway. They can all run with him down straightaway, but boy, is he great in the corner.
Now Jeff Gordon is going to make his pit stop. Gordon was planning on stopping, and with roughly 20 to go, he's stopping now with 39 laps to go. Lap 361 on the board. Here comes the DuPont Chevy. There's Kyle still trying to put Earnhardt down. Glenn Jarrett's watching Gordon stop.
Guys, the strategy here is the chassis was so bad on Jeff's car, they needed to make a stop to make an adjustment and to put on right side tires. He's down and away. It only took about 5 more seconds to put those tires on than they did to splash it with fuel. So that's their strategy. They were getting out on the racetrack. They're trying to make up some ground.
And Dale Earnhardt now goes a lap down. So only Kyle Petty, Mark Martin, Jarrett, and Rudd remain on the lead lap, closing in on the finish.
Flash and go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's so far ahead, he may get away with it.
What?
The sign said, Paulie installed my faucet. Fine.
Good thought.
What the heck I did with
You're clear all around.
Take 7.
Have you ever seen his wife?
Clear.
Yo.
All right.
We were just talking about that. If he builds up enough lead, he can do that.
Yeah.
You know, with 10 to go, he's certainly going to make it. But what these guys now have is fresh tires. running they're running much quicker.
Yep. It's over a second a lap difference, fresh tires.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just Dale Jarrett. Boom. I take it Kyle has the most laps sewed up as far as extra points.
Race fans, you make the call. New LCI residential long-distance customers receive 30 minutes of free domestic calling and the World Card Plus calling card featuring participating NASCAR drivers. Don't delay. Call now. 1-888-TEAM-LCI.
Welcome back, everybody. That shot high above Dover Downs, courtesy of Durashine Advanced Auto Polish. Just wipe it on and hose it off. Durashine is available at Pep Boys, Weston Auto, Kmart, and Target Auto Stores. We are at lap 369, 31 miles to go in a race that has been slowed exactly once, briefly for caution, way back at lap 88. Nothing since. In the garage, Michael Waltrip, Ricky Craven, Jeff Green, and Robert Presley. Kyle Petty is the story, but again, Kyle has to make a pit stop. Mark Martin is 15 seconds behind him in second. Mark will not have to pit. You'll see across the top of the screen, MCI bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring. You'll know exactly where everybody is.
Eli, 15 seconds. That's a little more than a half a lap right now that Kyle Petty has for a lead, but when he slows down to come down pit road and gets back up to speed, there's no way in the world he makes a stop and Martin doesn't, that he can beat him.
Even for a splash of fuel, it would take you far more than that. Just the slowing down and the speeding up. Now, here comes Dale Jarrett. He'll make his stop at lap 371. Also, Glenn, a little bit earlier than we thought he might come in. Most folks are saying lap 380.
Absolutely, Eli. He also needed a chassis adjustment. They're going to put 4 seconds of fuel in the car and also add a couple of rounds of bike to it. So here we go. We're going to clock the fuel, and I got started a little quick there. But he's down and away. It was almost exactly 4 seconds. 4.7 seconds is the stop. So they did what they wanted to do. Now, I want to show you this. If you can take a look at my camera, I'm down in Mark Martin's pit. They're talking about a possible power steering belt problem again. They say he's not going to have to come in, but they got a guy standing ready with the belts on pit wall just in case.
But Mark is not going to fight it. He's going to be able to manhandle that machine if necessary. But Kyle Petty still leads. 26 laps to go.
What's the deal with the power steering on that car? That's the second time.
Yeah.
They must be trying a new pulley or something. Well, then Richmond, he had to put his elbow up on the steering wheel. And
remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, they just got some sort of misalignment, but it doesn't seem reasonable that would happen 2 races.
That could certainly slow him down.
Oh, yeah.
We're all around.
That was worth the price, believe me. Good. God, that's good.
Ice cream.
Yeah, man. We had strawberry ice cream. I did. And he had
chocolate chip cookie dough.
I know. Eddie Martin Rudd.
Trying to play the count.
Does Rudd have to stop?
Rickety must stop, yes.
Will he do a splash and go, or will he take a tire?
At this point, you got to do a splash and go. You think the 24 laps?
I would. Yep. I wouldn't take the shot.
I just cannot believe we haven't had but one caution.
It's just insane. I mean,
gas and go right there.
Yep.
You could hear it.
Heard it. Gas
is that
and go.
Kyle's?
Yeah. That was Kyle.
Was that
we're all
Kyle?
around.
Is that Kyle? Yep. Well, he's going to make it happen now, huh? This fast. Wow, we were away.
Yep, here he comes.
Well, we were away.
Way to go, Tam.
Here we come. 3100.
Lap 33.78.
Cut it over.
378.
Here's Mark. Mark's coming. And then some.
We're all the way. Watch the speed.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Thank you.
3.2.
All right, hammer down.
Oh, he gets sideways going out the pits. You see that?
Kyle Petty has been leading the Mbna 400, but pit stops were imminent. And a 3.2 second stop for Kyle Petty has handed the lead to Mark Martin. We're going to let Kyle get up to full speed. We'll set the interval for you on the racetrack, but Mark Martin has a comfortable advantage.
Well, right now, Mark Martin is a full half a lap ahead now of Kyle Petty, and I don't think he's got the time to close in on him.
Ricky Rudd is in second, 6.5 seconds back.
The assumption is this number 6 car will not have to pit again, and if he does not, boy, what an advantage that fuel economy will have proven to be.
It is 12.5 seconds, 12.53 seconds, the advantage from Martin back to Kyle. Remembering, too, that Rudd has to make a stop. He's in second, but Earnhardt can stay out there. If everybody's been telling us the truth, you could be looking at a Martin, Earnhardt, Kyle Petty finish in 18 miles from now. There's Kyle. Riding with Hut Strickland.
Well, that was one gas stop you knew he didn't want to make.
Yeah.
If there was any way he could have stayed out, if they even thought there was worth a chance, they would have.
It was as good as possible. You ride with Hut Strickland in 18th spot. 3.2 seconds. You can't stop any less than that.
They had a nice stop. Everything went well. The race has gone well. Everything has gone perfectly for him, except they kind of needed one more caution flag. Kind of needed one, I guess.
Hey, it's not over.
Nope.
The monster has been slumbering today, but you don't know what time his wake-up call is due.
You never want to see a caution, but it would turn this race right back into a horror show with just a few laps to go.
It is Martin by 6.5 over Rudd, by 11 over Earnhardt, by 13 over Kyle, right there.
When they get in the corner, you can see how the black marks go all the way up the racetrack now. Pretty much, you can count on the black that's real low. That was pretty much put there by the 44 car, Kyle Petty. He has consistently run lower on the racetrack all day long than anybody else and been so fast down there.
Riding along with Bobby Labonte.
You can see Mark Martin can almost smell victory right now, but he knows it's his race if he does not make a mistake. Not planning to stop. You can see Bobby Labonte as they head down the back straightaway. These cars are very even in a straight line. Whoa, I take that back. He saw Mark Martin and moved over and let him go there.
And Martin's going to be thinking points as well. He's in first right now. Gordon, the guy he's racing for the championship, is in 7th position. Steve Burns.
And Ricky Rudd just came in, did the same thing Kyle Petty had to do. Take 3 seconds worth of gas, and he's back on the racetrack. 3.1 seconds.
And that will cycle it around, as we had mentioned, to a Martin, Earnhardt, Kyle Petty run. 11 seconds over Earnhardt, 12.5 over Kyle Petty is that man, Mark Martin, who's looking for his 4th win of 1997. He won most recently back in Michigan in August.
He's also looking for his first ever Winston Cup championship. And He says this is the year. This is the time for him to do it. He came into this event a good bit behind Gordon, 139 points. He knows he can't make it up on the racetrack. He says it's going to have to be opportunity going in his direction, and this is opportunity.
Closing in on the finish. It'll be 10 laps to go next time by for Mark Martin, who has never won in Winston Cup racing here at today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Mbna 400 is brought to you by Kmart. Get the Exide NASCAR Select battery at Kmart. And by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. Mark Martin continues to pace the field. 4 miles to go. You know, he won at Talladega in a caution-free race. Looks like he's going to win here at Dover with only 1 caution.
You know, this started at the first pit stop cycle, though. He stretched his fuel mileage. He stretched his fuel mileage the next stop. This is the thing you plan, and not lucky. He drove a control race.
And the guy who's in second did the same thing. Earnhardt's team has been very smart today. He's running in second position, and he, too, can stretch his fuel.
Mark Martin stopped at lap 92, but then he started stretching at 105 laps, 106 laps. And that is all paying off for him here down the stretch. 2 laps to go, and he will let Bobby Labonte go by at this point. Bobby, having made a stop at lap 300, has 4 laps fresher tires, but he let Bobby get on by.
Earnhardt in second, about a half a lap back. Kyle Petty in third, led the most laps today.
There is the race leader. White flag already out for Mark Martin, who has 12 top 10s here in 22 starts. But finally, in his 23rd try in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, Mark Martin wins at Dover Down Speedway in Delaware, his 4th win of the year. Second place will be right here. That's the battle for Earnhardt and Petty. That is for second and third to the stripe. Give it to Earnhardt ahead of Kyle Petty. They will finish 10 and 3/10 seconds behind Mark Martin. So Earnhardt takes home a second, Kyle Petty third. Bobby Labonte will finish unofficially in 4th ahead of Dale Jarrett 5th. Ricky Rudd 6th, Jeff Gordon 7th, Bill Elliott 8th, Ernie Irvan 9th, and Rick Mass 10th. Well, there is Mark Martin. A victory, used fuel mileage, and a good, solid race car. And he's going to climb out of the machine now. Glenn Jarrett's down there in victory lane. Glenn?
Well, guys, he told me that he's been in a hurry all day. He didn't have to be in a hurry right now. Congratulations, Mark Martin, for the 4th time this year, the 22nd time in his career, first time ever at Dover, collecting a $114,000 bonus from Unocal for winning from the pole. You had a great race car, and, man, you got some great fuel mileage.
Hey, Matt, Arlene, you guys should have been here. Jack Roush won this race today. We had a great race car, but we weren't good enough to beat Kyle. And Jack, we had everybody else covered, and Jack took care of Kyle for us. So he said he's going to win a race on fuel mileage. And I didn't know. I was waiting to see it, and today was the day.
It sure was, and if I can get my plaque here, we'll present it. Go ahead and present it to Jack Roush. He can take it on behalf of the crew. Jack, great call there on behalf of Miller Lite TNN. We present you with the Pit Crew Award. That was an awesome call.
We appreciate it. You know, Mark races the wheels off this car. He always has, you know, and we keep trying to get a little something on miles, but there's normally not much left. But today he saved us a little.
We certainly did. Congratulations, guys. We're going to let you celebrate.
A super run for the team. That Miller Pit Crew Award brought to you by Miller Lite, inviting you to sit back and enjoy Miller time. Mark led for 185 laps, but Kyle got the bonus. He led for 191.
One of the guys that changed jobs this year for the first time in a long, long time was Paul Andrews. Paul's taking on some new responsibilities and a new driver. Paul, what are some of the things that you think you can apply with Jeremy that you might have learned from Alan or Jeff?
Well, you know, trying to win races is the main thing, the main #1 goal. But just trying to give these guys a good race setup and trying to get things in headed in the right direction. we'll have to see what happens, but I think we can make a difference.
And Jeremy, as far as his experience level, what are you going to be coaching him on the radio? Can you help him with things like that?
I believe I can. Yeah, I believe the experience with my experience and his needing a little more. I believe we'll be a good combination. Really.
Well, Paul knows his way to victory lane, and he sat at the head table at the Waldorf. So if Jeremy's going to get to victory lane, this is the guy that's going to take him there.
One of 6 active crew chiefs to win a NASCAR Winston Cup championship is Paul Andrews. 23rd place for Jeremy Mayfield today. These are the top 10 finishers. Jeff Gordon, that was his first top 10 finish that was not in the top 5. Came home in 7th today. Now, Dale Earnhardt standing by in the garage area with Matt Yoakum after a 2nd place run.
Boy, Dale Earnhardt, the man in black, indeed back. Your 3rd, 2nd place finish of the season. Great run for you.
Well, it's not a win, but it's a lot better than we've been doing lately. So, the guys are just doing a great job with the car and everything, and they just keep trying. Larry and the guys don't give up. I've got an awful good race team. Feel great after this race. Remember every lap of it. Dover's a tough place. I figured this would be the test. If there's anything wrong with me, it happened here.
Well, you can definitely tell the man in black is indeed back 2nd place, and look at that smile on his face.
That was a great line. You catch that after the problems at Darlington. He does a great race, and I remember every single lap of it. We're going to come back. We'll look at a full rundown for you. We'll check out the points in a quick day at Dover. Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the MBNA 400 has been brought to you by Texaco. Texaco, a world of energy. By Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by the legendary Firebird Trans Am from Pontiac. Welcome back. There's Kyle Petty. He got the bonus point for leading the most laps. Matt just couldn't quite win it today.
A dominating run for Kyle Petty, owner, driver. He almost came up with the win.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I'm proud of these guys, Bobby and Glenn and Travis and Greg and all these guys that work on this thing. Grumpy. It's one of those deals where we came here and we knew we were going to be good because we were pretty good here the first time. And we came back and we ran the first practice yesterday, and Bobby thought about it, and he made some changes in the last practice that helped us a lot. We weren't sure we were going to get that practice. And, we came out today and we had a great car.
Bobby, your first year here together at PE2. You guys, I know, did not think you'd be this place this soon to victory lane.
No, we didn't. When we started off the year, we didn't think we'd be here this quick, but it sure would be nice to be standing in victory lane right now instead of here talking to you.
Well, they came up a little bit short of 3rd place finish for Kyle Petty.
And another unsolicited testimonial about Matt Yoakum.
No, that just tells you these guys do not like
serious.
2nd.
They're serious. There you see the top 10. First top 10 of the year for Rick Mast. Good run there for the Remington Arms Racing team. Jeff Burton, still not feeling 100%, comes home in 11th spot. Great effort for him. Hut Strickland. Dick Trickle there back in 18th. Mike Skinner.
Crowd gave Earnhardt an incredible ovation when he came
up.
Oh,
yeah.
Everybody else went down pit road except Earnhardt. Earnhardt came in front of the grandstand, and they stood and they cheered and they applauded. They know how hard he has struggled and how hard he has worked, and what a run he had today. His 3rd, 2nd place finish of 1997, and the crowd loved it.
And again, the big story through all the fuel and all was just that one caution. Kept this day spread out, and not many guys on the lead lap when all was said and done. Only 4 finishing on the lead lap. There are the points now in NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. 105, Jeff Gordon over Mark Martin. Jarrett, Burton, and Terry Labonte. Terry had a tough day, slapping the wall there.
Rusty, another tough day for him as well.
Kenny Schrader and Ernie Irvin. And there you have the top 10 in NASCAR Winston Cup points. Coming up as soon as we leave the air, NASCAR Garage will be coming your way. Hope you can stick around for that, followed by Ready for the Road. That'll be coming up next here on TNN Motorsports in a very, very brief day. That's all coming up. NASCAR Garage at 3:30 Eastern, followed by Ready for the Road at 4 o'clock. course, we'll be joining you in a few weeks' time. We've got Winston Cup racing from Rockingham. We've got truck races in the interim, of course, but our next NASCAR Winston Cup stop will be Rockingham, North Carolina, the AC Delco 400 from the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Hope you can join us for that. We'll also be with you in Phoenix as TNN Motorsports takes you down the stretch of the 1997 season. Well, interesting day today. And again, fuel mileage, and who would have thought just one caution after so many that we've seen here in the past.
Yeah, but congratulations to Kyle Petty coming home third. What a great drive today. Did everything he had to do except win. They're working on that.
Whole team pulled together. It wasn't just Kyle. It was that whole team. They did everything right today. They made no mistakes. If they run well at Rockingham, could be their deal at Rockingham.
And for Dale Earnhardt, comes home in second. The winless streak, though, now 53. They'll try it next week in Martinsville, Virginia. Again, NASCAR Garage, followed by Ready for the Road, coming up next here on TNN Motorsports. Hope you enjoyed the weekend coverage. Big thank you to Buddy Baker, Dick Bergwijn, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum, and Steve Burns. I'm Eli Gold, thanking you for joining us here at the Monster Mile. Our congratulations to Mark Martin, back in victory lane, 4th win of the year, his 22nd career victory. For all of us here at TNN Motorsports, Eli Gold bidding you a good afternoon from the Monster Mile.